Well, hello.
Well, hello to you too.
How are you? You think I still need a nap?
Yes, you're
Mm,
delirious.
I'm not at all. Want to give special shout outs to the new members Farida, Miss Phoenix 91, Kevin, Edmund, and Donald Watts. We want to make sure we shout y'all out. Thank you for becoming members. I thought that was one more.
No, we got like a super sticker and a super chat. Shout out to the super stickers and the super chats.
Yeah.
But yes, you're still delirious because a lot of things that you would be having going on in your mind, you are like saying them out loud. Like, let me go to the private chat and see what D is talking about.
No, I did that on
No,
purpose.
that's how I know you need a nap.
No nap. I do that on purpose.
Let's see what she's talking about. I was like, oh, she's rubbing it on. Peanut butter thick tonight. She really need a nap.
What is she talking about? Oh,
Petunia is out.
What happened on the last show? Who was boxing who in the chat? What in the world?
Air. They was boxing air, honey. Boxing complete air. I
Shout out
don't know what was going on, but it was air.
shout out to Donna for the blocks. Like what in the world was going on? Didn't nobody come up and say nothing, so I just figured that nobody needed nothing. That's how I looked at it. It wasn't that important. Could have been. Why is it still doing that? Guess not. Mercedes, welcome. Welcome to the 500K Earner Club. I got to drop some stuff this week. Um, yeah, we're gonna be dropping some private stuff this week, and I got to get in touch with I got to get in touch with Miss Evans on the blockchain and law class. And I need to do that, and we got to get on the show. I have so many people that I got 20 people to contact, and I just need to sit down and just like, here is blah, 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 blah. Brrrah. That's what I need to do, and just keep it pushing, right? Um, but welcome to Women in Linux. I am Tam, and that's D. So D, um, anything you feel you want to add from last week? Did you want to recap last week? Remember last week? Do you remember last
Do
week?
I remember last week? I remember so many things about last week, but the specifics of the show, I don't. I do know we were talking about 70,000 a year, and what
Mhm.
could we do making $70,000
And
a year?
that show was 5 hours, so you could pick out random topics.
So again, I know that, and then we went over that, adding to that list in the last show. So you had some grievances to air about some stuff, and um, I'm on to the next. Like everything is always churning, everything is always moving. Um, Putting some things into place. For myself and people, we out here, we're telling the information. By no means is this financial advice, but these are some strategies that we use. We want to make sure people are implementing.
Yep.
And,
And
as always, from week to week, we set realistic expectations.
yeah, step by step goals,
Yeah.
make it easier for people to walk in and like do day one, step one. That's the goal there. Um, Trying to see uh if there's anything from the episodes. Oh, I do know what I want to go over. I'm pulling up my notes now. Uh,
From the last show?
no, for this show, we're episode 41, 42. Oh, did I not make a 42? Or did I just make a 41? Oh, I only made a 41. I should have made a 42.
But we can say, today's the first day, Gemini season, Gemini stand up.
Mm. We don't want to talk about that, dude. I don't know no Gemini.
No,
Mm,
I do.
mm. They must not be very nice.
The ones that I know,
I mean, just Gemini's.
stand up folks.
Stand up for
It's Brian Preston.
You mean they'll stand you up?
Sometimes they will.
Mm,
Sometimes they will.
I can agree with that.
Sometimes they just don't want to be bothered.
Mm. Afri P, what's going
What's going on, Afri P? It's been a minute. Long time no see.
on? Gemini's are wonderful people. These must be lies, fairy tales, and fellas.
It's Brian.
Down to earth, they are. I agree.
These must be lies, fairy
Wonderful.
tales, and fellas.
Wonderful people.
I'm pulling up all my little notes and stuff that I. Some
You
that I
must be pulling from weeks way like weeks before.
don't know. I'm
Hmm?
pulling, no,
No, from last week.
no. This is from today, and
Oh, from today. I have
mhm.
those notes up from today.
And then I have some other stuff I didn't cover for the last one, and then stuff I want to cover on this one. Because people are always talking about, well, everybody don't want to go into tech and stuff. So I pulled some of that out. I also pulled out some of the top paying 100 jobs, and then we kind of gonna probably work backwards on my tab, um, and go from there. And we're gonna talk about being overemployed. All right. I got notes today. I got notes.
You got notes. You got notes all the time.
I got notes today. Mm.
It's very rarely you don't have notes.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to get them all up here so we can just click through them and be on it. I even called my mom about I called my mom and told her about what was said last night. She was like, "Who? What? What?" She was them were fighting words.
Notice
She was ready. All right, so I think I got
In
it.
regards to what was said
Uh,
last night.
the civil rights didn't do anything for black people.
I mean, it's hard to really argue with somebody that was there and have a firsthand account of what's going on, and to say and people to diminish, you know, the civil rights movement for whatever reason they want to. Everybody has their own opinion about everything, but it's a tough pill to swallow, and it was not that long ago. Like, y'all acting like the civil rights was in the 1800s.
They still living.
Like, come on.
Yeah,
I think that needs to be put in context. However, I don't know where the disconnect when it comes to age, like those were the long time ago days. Like, we're in our 40s. This is your mother who
in
you
my
can
30s.
ask. Excuse you?
I'm in my 30s. You the oldest on the team on the squad.
That's fine.
Big back bull. What's going on with you? Don't be sitting here lying that
That's
you.
fine. I'm gonna let you live in. It's Gemini season. I'm gonna let you live in La La Land. But it's not very.
Hater, player,
No, that's how you need to go to bed. But
hater.
it's not that long ago. Your mother, you can ask your mother questions, like,
And all her friends.
and they'll
If
have
if
their
I got them
feelings
on,
and
if
their
I pulled
opinions
them
and
up
their
on
thoughts.
stage, if I pulled them up on stage,
But
especially they were some of them were historians as well too. Traveling voyages to Egypt and all, so whatever.
I don't know. And sometimes I think people just say stuff for shock value.
Mm.
Like, I think
I
people
don't
are
know.
just
Big
there
Big
like,
Bad Bull was there last night. Big Bad Bull was there last night. Big Bad Bull know what they was talking about last night. They was dropping the I don't know. I don't want to call them gems, but boo boo pebbles. Last night.
Yeah,
Pellets,
it's sad.
pellets. They were
It's
dropping
sad.
pellets.
But to see all of that robbed you of your night of sleep.
It didn't rob me of my night of sleep. I got a little nap in, and I was talking
It
to my
wasn't enough.
sister, and we was cracking up about everything. So it's all good. So it was worth it for me. I still got my notes and ready to go. Give me talking points. Right. I still need to do a reaction. We need to do a reaction. I'm gonna send you Intentional Millionaires show, and I need to do a reaction to that show. And I told him I would do a reaction to that show, and it was about the college students coming out. Uh, think they're gonna make more than 50,000. They think they're gonna make basically $100,000 coming out of college. Um, as they come out across the board, and they were saying that's not possible. And
Everybody thought they were going to do that.
yeah, all
Oh,
degrees, all degrees.
mm-mm.
Right. And so I was like, that's fair, but it's not fair to say that certain degrees don't drive that.
Right.
And what's funny about it is I was on my way to meet up with some coworkers, and I was like, and I was telling them why I was late, and one of the managers was there, and I was telling him about the live that I was looking at and so forth. He was like, not in software engineering. You can make 100,000 coming out in software engineering. He's like, I know what the numbers are, blah blah blah. And there was a guy standing there. His name's Nick. He's 25, graduated, and he was like, well, I started out at 72, and he said after a year I've been here, and I moved up to 100,000. So he went from 72 to 100,000. And he was like, but some of my other friends, they came out, they're making, the 100. They're already there and surpassed me already coming out. And the manager was saying that his daughter's due to graduate from college, and she's going to get her master's. No, she's going to get her bachelor's in business administration. But he was like, she's standing to make 55,000, but he was like, I tried to get her to go into engineering. She's like, eventually she'll end up there, but it is what it is, right? What's going on, Toya R? What's going on, Engineering Cannabis? Oh, Engineering Cannabis, you had said something to me on the other show about don't uh, don't be talking about the 250, or don't talk about the 200 something.
No, he was saying that 250 was a starting point. That's where
Right, but no, there was
he
another statement that he added me on about something, and I just wanted to make sure I'm following up with that because I saw it, but I didn't see it. And Sasha asked, what is equity in a house? Do you want to explain what equity is in a house?
Oh, okay. So equity is the amount of money that is in your home from the purchase price that you purchase this at and the new appraised value. So that money in between, that cushion, is the equity in your home.
Now, are there things that you can do with that equity in that home?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do with the equity. For me, if you're going to take money out of your home, because when you take that equity out of your home, you're basically borrowing against that equity. So it's unrealized money. Like it's, on paper what you have. So you're borrowing against it. So when you take out any type of equity in your home, your mortgage goes up because you've basically taken a loan out from your home to do other things. So if you do take that money out, make sure that that money is making money. Sometimes, and if this is your first home, there's different types of loans that you can get in order to fix up the house initially, instead of buying the house and then taking a second mortgage, which is usually the type of mortgage you take out to or a home equity line of credit to access that equity in your home. But anything with that money should be making money. Now, if you take it out because you need to do some home improvements and that's going back into the home and the resale value, just make sure that you're financially at a place that you can cover that spread until you sell that home, or if that's going to be your forever home. But make that money make money.
Correct. And do you recommend any ways of that money making money?
I mean, it's every week we do a show. Every week we do a show about ways that money can make money. At the end of the day, this is not financial advice, but you have to do what makes sense for you. You are responsible for that money. So I hope you do the due diligence that you need to make that money work for you based on whatever that is, whether you're buying a business that's already producing income, whether you're taking that money out to put that money on a different home as an investment property, and you'll pull money out of that house, whether you're using that money to access land. Again, you can buy another automobile, put it on Turo. You need to bring up the list. Like a lot of that list, that 70K list that we've been working on for the past 2 weeks. You can do a number of things off that list in order to make some money. You can start a small business and something that you can manage, or already have a team of people that are going to manage it, and use that as seed money. Any way it goes, let that money make some money, because you are responsible for it. So you have to pay, you have to make payments on that every month. So whatever you're doing, make sure it's enough to handle that payment, or yields enough within 6 months, a year, 2 years, in order to pay it all back. And you've basically been the bank. You've loaned yourself some money, and now you can pay that loan back with a balloon amount in full.
Correct. So I hope that made sense for everybody. Drop a 1 in the chat if it did. Drop a 2 if it did not make sense. Thank you for the financial advice, not financial
Not financial advice. Just a couple of things that can be done. That's what you choose to do.
Yeah. Right.
I am in no way the guru around here.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Oh, we don't have no moderators on this one.
We do. Donald is in here.
Is Donald here?
And Miss Phoenix is a moderator.
Okay. Cool.
And Kevin is a moderator.
Okay. Cool. Well, we have moderators. I wasn't sure. I don't know what happened.
And Tam is a moderator.
Yeah. Matt.
No, Tam.
Matt.
No, this one is Tam. I don't see Matt today.
I was trying to figure out what happened on the last show that was going on where everybody was boxing. Like,
I don't think it was a lot of people think the internet is supposed to be like this forum of free thinking ideas. But when you come on other people's platforms, they have the right to do what they want to do. I don't know what happened, but some people don't like that energy. They don't have to be bothered with it.
Gotcha. All right, let's get cracking because we got work to do. We got topics to discuss. We got things to go over. I think everyone's going to find these very interesting. I'm kind of covering maybe 1 or 2 things from the last show, but really we're going to get into skills, learning, overemployment, the works. I think you'll find these very interesting. It's a whole culture out there. I don't want to do a deep dive on them, but I'm going to talk about some stuff that is going to probably have you really thinking. And hopefully you'll be working on getting your skills and getting those skills up. If you don't know who we are, we're Women in Linux. I am Tam. There's D next to me. We are Women in Linux. You can find us on womeninlinux.org. You can also find us across social media, Women in Linux. You can also hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And also don't forget to join our meetup. When you join us on meetup.com, you keep up with what's happening, what's crack-a-lacking.
With what?
Crack-a-lacking.
Okay.
Crack-a-lacking. When it
You
comes
get elderly and elderly. Every show you get elderly.
crack-a-lacking, right? It's all right, crack-a-lacking. I don't know what else you want me to say. What you want me to
I
say?
don't want you to say anything else, friend.
Look, as long as you older than me, that's all that matters.
I'm going to behave. You know, it's Gemini season. I'll behave all season long.
It ain't even in your nature.
What you mean,
It ain't even in your nature.
my G?
It ain't
What
even
do you
who you
mean?
my G. It ain't even who you are. My God. My G. It's not even
That's not nice.
it's
That's not nice.
no, see, we stick to true facts around here. Truth and facts.
Lies, fallacies, and fairy tales over there.
No,
But you know what? It's all good.
It's not even
It's all good.
it is.
It's all good. It's great.
What's going on, Vic? How you doing? All right, so let's get crack-a-lacking, like I said, for these
Come on,
before you.
Auntie. Let's go.
What'd you call me, Auntie? Did you call me Auntie? Did you call me Auntie?
Sugar tea. Sure did.
Okay, I know them drugs done kicked in. All right, so find us on meetup.com. Every Wednesday we have a meetup to discuss Linux and various topics. Those who have been to the meetup know that anything could happen on the meetup. It could be someone that pops up. It could be me teaching. It could be me explaining things. It could be whatever. It could be showing job, just offers, letters, whatever the case may
All kinds
be.
of surprises.
Yeah,
It was a great meetup last week.
yeah. So you just never know what could pop off.
And then I want people to also know that in the meetups, we're all learning together. Like a lot of the topics are fresh and new for everybody. So don't ever feel like you are coming to a meetup and everything's going to be over your head, or you're missing out on the training or anything. Like we're all learning together. It's a very safe and enjoyable space where we can engage. So definitely come out.
Correct. Next is if you like to schedule a one-on-one, you can hop over to Calendly to I always mess that word up. I want to say calendar.
You
Calendar.
just say, go ahead and schedule your one-on-one.
Okay. And when you hop over there, schedule your one-on-one, you have various options in which you can schedule a one-on-one to talk, to meet, to discuss, what have you, and get you on the right path, introduce you to the right people, and keep it moving. And last but not least, if you want to connect, well, not least, but if you want to connect with us, I forgot about IT Pro TV too. Don't forget to put that up there. If you want to connect with us, hit connect. It drop you down into here, which would then drop you into our Slack. You would need the Slack app. You can use it Slack on your desktop in the web browser, or you can use the app itself. I prefer the actual web browser because I found that the application can be a little resource heavy sometimes when you got too many things open. And the other is if you want to donate, you can donate with your time, you can donate with your money. You can also donate here on YouTube as well too, with your super chats and so forth, or you can become a member. And as well, don't forget, if you would like to get 30% off of training, if you hit up IT Pro TV, use the actual course code, or not course code, but the actual code Women in Linux, and you get 30% off for it. And again, see, they say join and get 75% free training. But I do like IT Pro TV for the way that they train. I go back and forth between our Pro TV, Pluralsight, and many others. I got a ton of online trainings that I go back and forth in between. All right, cool. All right, so one of the things that I was looking at, and it was on the Money Guy, and they talked about intrinsic, and extrinsic motivation. And I was like, well, what in the world does that mean? Right? So here, the most basic distinction is between intrinsic motivation, which refers to doing something because it is inherently interesting or enjoyable, and extrinsic motivation, which refers to doing something because it leads to a separable outcome. And so one of the conversations they were having about was not just this motivation, but the motivation to uh, have like an extra job, or that again when we talked about earlier, that why of accumulating wealth, right? They were talking about that earlier. So again, it's more or less about that. So again, I just wanted to kind of briefly talk about that a little bit, and I guess we could do a deeper dive here, right? Well, what are the three types of intrinsic motivation, right? Um, so, how do you attain intrinsic motivation? It's a book by Daniel Pink. In his book, Drive, it lists three elements of motivation, of the motivation formula: autonomy, mastery, and purpose, right? Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. In these situations where people are paid fairly, this trio drives and engages and stimulates us to do our best work. Autonomy, mastery, and purpose, right? And when we say purpose, that may or may not be passion. Then purpose doesn't have to be passion. It could be, your purpose could be like, hey, I really want to see um these five kids go off to college, right? But your passion may be, I really in my downtime like to read comic books. So you're passionate about that and you go collect comic books and so forth. So you could look at it as a hobby, but again, I think we have to define that a little differently. And I think when we're talking about, not I think I know, when we're talking about how we gain more skills, autonomy, but and mastery is super important. And I think your purpose could be defined many different ways. Your purpose after you have mastered something, it could be to make more money. It could be to go work at a particular startup. It could be to go work at Amazon. It could be to be self-employed. I think that purpose throughout your journey and throughout your career is going to change often, right? But I hope that the end result is that you have used whatever it is that you're going to do to accumulate wealth. Do you want to add in a chime on that?
I mean, I agree. And then I think your purpose drives mastery. Like when you said it changes, but it's your purpose. Like over time, what you're interested in changes. And so your mastery and wanting to know and learn and drive that and share that with others, I mean, it's priceless, because then that's when they say you are, I guess that's what they say, when you're operating in your passion, it no longer feels like work. And so it comes really naturally to you. I think
Mhm.
a lot of times when people go so far out of themselves and they get ready to do something, to do a task, or look at a new job, even though it was something that they might have had an interest in and it fell off, they really don't do well in it because it's no longer an interest. That's one thing that I love about tech, is that tech covers so many gamuts. If you're into yachting, you can get into, yachting in tech, nautical. You know what I'm saying? If you're in music, you can go get in music. Like everything. If you're creative, you can go get in the creative sector. So
I'm laughing because I was on another channel.
what
Not
happened?
it was on a different channel. It was this lady's channel. And one of the things that came up was like, the comparisons of, who, what, this, that, another. And I got to talking about like some of the men that I work with or have worked with, one of their hobbies was to build a plane.
Right.
And so one of the guys was in the chat was like, so what you saying is in order for a man to get with you, you need to see if he can build a plane. I was like, no, I was just giving just different examples of what some men do outside of work. Some bike, Some do
some men that you know.
yeah, and some
Yeah.
some don't even go to the gym. They work out in the gym because one of the big things was like black women need to get back to the gym, and that's where they're gonna meet their man at. And whatever we go on about trainers and stuff, but it's beside the point. But
Whatever, like
whatever.
that's not what I said, man. That's not what I said.
Yeah,
Like,
but the whole thing is what I was saying was that some men have different things that they do. So, building a plane is one thing. Someone else does yachting. Like one guy, he had a boat, but his kids were part of the yacht club and they yachted. And then part of the yacht crew at the school and got a scholarship to go to college or were on a yacht scholarship. And then over here, the ones over here, they do golfing, and the other one go biking. They're part of the bike crew, and they do biking. And another one, they do marathons and they jog. And then there's one that volunteered at the Boys and Girls Club where he would go as a white guy and adopt a family, some kids, some boys, and have the mom and dad and the parents and all of them or whatever over to the house to show them just a different life. I mean, it's just different things. I'm just saying these are just things that I've seen and experienced that people are like, well, no, you got to be in this place because that's how you're going to meet your man. You got to be in the gym because that's where your man is at. And it's like, well, you know I work around, I've probably worked around in my entire life 5 black people, so I don't see black people.
I mean, I
So
don't like going to the gym. Like my ultimate workout is doing yard work. Like on the mow, on the edge. I want to get out all the power tools. Like
you're
that's a
so masculine. You're so masculine. You want to get out the power tools and edge and mow. How dare you be masculine?
don't start. You acting like engineering cannabis. Don't,
See,
don't,
how dare you?
don't.
How dare you want to push yourself propel more?
How dare you want to do some housework? How dare you? How dare you want to go flex your power tools on people? Like, am I gonna, meet somebody on the curb?
Probably. You have.
And just so happened the person that I'm dating, he pulled up and was like, we might need you to get a landscaping company, huh? Because he was awed and amazed where he came in just, it was a patch that was left, a patch of grass. And he was like, oh, let me handle that. Then he was just like, look at this great job that I did. I was like, get out of here. Like, don't take that to the front. That's a whole nother story. But that's something that I enjoy. Mentally, it frees my mind. Physically, it's a full body workout. And then you get to know what's going on around and talk to your neighbors and see what's going on with the house. Like, it's so relaxing to me.
That's relaxing to me. But I like washing my car, so that's relaxing.
See, I don't feel the same about washing car.
Yeah.
But again, I like driving through the little thing, and I grew up where my mother just ride through the little thing, and then
I didn't grow up like that.
wipe it off.
My
And
mama
my
made
mom used to, she used to get in the little self thingy, but that ain't been my thing.
D.
I don't want to wash no cars.
D. My mom made me get up and go with her to watch that Butte that she don't remember.
Well, I had to help my mom as well, but that's why I said that's not my thing. Now
Yeah.
I will vacuum and clean up something, but I
Girl,
don't prefer to
my
wash
mom used to be like, we would go up there off of what's that up there by what's that barbecue restaurant we like to go? You like to go eat at Fox Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Up there on that street used to be car wash, and my mom would go in there and she'd be like, go in there and get the turtle wax and get this, and she was like, you need to do small circles when you do it when
That
you
was
go
one of
around.
my luxuries to have the locals go and wash my
No,
car.
my
Like,
mom used
I have all the stuff, but I don't want to do
my
none of that.
mom used to make me get down and do all the tires. She was like, you need to clean the tires first. You need to get them vacuum it out first, get it cleaned out, get the air freshener, spray everything down, get in between the seats. Don't just go over the seats. Put your hand in there and lift the seat up and stick it under there and get in between the seats. And then she would be like, and then you can't, she's like, you can't come out of here with your tires all just dull. You need to go around the tires. You need to go around the tires and give that tire a shine and get the windows and dust out. Like we'd be over there for hours and hours and hours uh washing.
Oh, down to earth. I'd love to put together a good cabinet. I love it. Now electronics. I'm on the fence about electronics and electricity, but I'm pretty much a MacGyver of all things. I could make it do what it do, but like I am a little things type of woman, and boy, a car wash and a tank of gas, like. I think I love you. You want to get some car? It's just the little things.
Sucker. Sucker.
Yeah. Especially if I don't have to do it.
Yeah. So for me, my mom made me wash the car, so that was one thing.
My mom made me put together furniture,
and she made me do that too.
Mom was like, "Here." So when I was like, "You didn't read the directions," that ain't nothing but my mom was like, "You ain't gonna read these directions." I have to read the directions.
No, my mom made me every time you get a vacuum cleaner or something, put that together.
Yep.
Directions in the box. What all tools you need? They should be down there. I bought you. This is what my mama used to say. I bought you a tool set. So you can put it together. She's like, I ain't never been good at that. Now I want to be good at that. She's like, you figure it out. So I was like, okay. Anytime I get a new toy for Christmas, put your own big wheel together. I don't read the directions either.
And she be like, why I got these screws left? Why this not fit? Why is leaning over? Because you did not read the directions.
As an engineer, we don't read directions.
That you have all the pieces. I need to know if I got all the pieces before I even start this endeavor. Because if I start building stuff and it can't complete it, it's gonna be a problem. So I have to see if I got all the pieces first.
I'm going in.
Tam is gonna get it and take it out the box, and that drone running right into something and be like, I'm glad
that drone didn't have nothing to do with me not reading directions.
I'm glad I got insurance.
The drone,
or she'll do me. It's waiting for you to put it together.
You like it?
It's waiting for you to put it together.
Who am I to deny you such pleasures in life?
I don't want to do all of that.
You did. I know people in the chat saw how excited she was when she was like, I love putting things. You see the excitement? Who am I to deny her pleasures about putting
you can deny me sometimes. Deny me the pleasure sometimes.
No, you're the one like that IKEA crap. Want to put
what crap?
The IKEA crap.
A lot of furniture is not IKEA that you need to put together. Everything you order from Amazon needs to be put together.
No, it don't.
That 7-foot desk did not come with a person to put that together.
You.
It didn't come from IKEA, and it still need to be put together. What? That chair, them couple of chairs. See, it didn't come with nobody to put it together. It came from Amazon.
This is where everybody be complaining about. Women always want to bring up something from the past.
You're not shit. That's why I'm glad we can say that.
What you say, down to earth? I was a little girl who liked my brother's race set as opposed to dolls. I had Tinker Toys.
I had them both.
They didn't
my
do
uncle
anything.
Was 7 years older than me, and then it's me, and then my cousin is 2 years older, and then he was a guy. So I never think it was just about, gender. This is what we got around here. This is what
I This a true story, right? My dad came over to the house and he was bringing me I think it was just a present. I don't think it was for Christmas, nothing like that. And he was like, "I got you something, baby." I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I'm opening up. I hold up the doll, and I was like, "Daddy, this damn thing white. What I'm gonna do with this white doll?" And tossed it. And I remember doing that too. It looked at my dad looked at my mom and was like, "Are you teaching her about race?" She was like, "No, she know colors." That doll was white. Why you bring? I can't do nothing with this doll. And like I was never like a fan of dolls and braiding hair and sitting down and playing tea. Well, I was the only child because my mom wasn't gonna play no tea with me anyway. She gonna be like, "I ain't got time for that shit."
You know what? I had all type of toys and I liked it all. I liked everything from my chemistry sets. As I got older, I started buying those, saving my money and buying those for myself. Chemistry sets. I had an easy bake oven. I be in there baking cupcakes and them little mini
Yeah,
cakes
I
in
had
the
easy bake
room.
oven.
My Tinker toys, love them. My Legos, love them. My speaking spell. Like I've had it all. Big wheel, bike, training wheels, skates, metal skates. Like everything,
I had
go
skateboard.
karts, scooters. Like I could drive a car by the time I was 12. Like I love it
Were you
all.
putting
Like
in big block
it didn't
engines
matter.
too at 12?
Hmm?
Were you putting in engines at 12 too?
I wasn't putting no engines.
Okay, you weren't
No.
doing that yet.
I was big enough to sit in the seat by myself and drive straight and turn left and right. And as I got into high school, I learned, I had my parking drill sergeant because you got to parallel park. And my dad was the worst. But shoot. Everything. I had everything.
Mm.
I had access to everything. Then I went to the Boys and Girls Club. So that's why I don't understand why, you hear a lot of people talking what a girl should do and what a boy should do. Like that's the purpose of having like everything so your kids can explore what they like.
Did you play dodgeball?
Did we play dodgeball?
I'm just trying to check to see if you had a
What?
childhood.
What? And I went to Catholic school and I had to wear a skirt. And they didn't care whether you had that skirt. You got to be quick with some dodgeball because that rubber ball
I'm
come
trying to check
upside
the
your head,
temperature. Trying to check
or
the
it's
temperature.
like they hit it on your legs, on your bare legs, and they sting, and you be like,
I'm just trying to see if you was
I,
real
I
about
wore I wore a uniform skirt for 10 years, 10, 12 years of my life. So nothing was off limits. We had to do it in a skirt.
dodgeball and
Dodgeball,
kickball.
softball, badminton, basketball, volleyball. Simon says, what's that one word? Tetherball. That can get you in the head too. I done seen some people get take out with the tetherball. Jacks,
Mm-hmm. Double
um,
dutch, jump
Chinese
rope.
jump rope. I made the best Chinese jump ropes. What? You skin your knee on that Chinese jump rope, especially when they get around here around your neck.
So
Played
it's
it
I
all.
like my easy bake oven. I love my quiz whiz, my speaking spell, my Simon,
Simon,
Simon.
operation, and you got too close, you be like,
Yep.
you gotta go read your book again because you're like, oh, my doctorate is not
He
doctorate.
said you have no child. You have no children. My childhood was probably an indication. Hey, I had
We don't
everything
have
you had.
children either. And I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest grandchild. I'm the oldest kid in my family.
You the oldest of everything. You the elderly.
No, Jax, what? Your pickup game got to be tight with Jax though, and you got to get my yo-yo. Boy, I had some good stuff. Uno,
Don't hear
I
me.
had Barbie with I had all the Barbies, the car. I had the Rainbow Coalition. I had Christy, uh, Black and White Ken. I gave Black Ken a buzz cut. I had Spider-Man, He-Man. I had all and stuff.
Did you have the
When my yo-yo lit up,
Did you have
come back and come up? Huh?
the stretchy incredible hook? I had the stretchy
with the arms. My cousin, he had that.
Yeah,
with the arm, and you could just hang them places. My cousin, he had all of that, but I didn't like going over there because he was junky.
I had an Alfie, so I learned on the Alfie. Master RT, thank you. Happy Saturday to you too. Appreciate the super chat.
And you know what? And my sister had Teddy Ruxpin. Cabbage Patch. I had a bald-headed preemie Cabbage Patch.
I had ugly things.
No, my sister had an ugly one. It was all cloth. I think my grandmother got me the
Garbage Pail Kids.
I had all the cards, stacks, and that stale ass gum.
Garbage Pail Kids, Jolly Ranchers, Bit Sticks,
Chico Sticks, the little stale gum with the tattoo, bazooka with the tattoo. That always don't come off right.
Was it the oven baked beans? What was it called?
Boston baked beans.
Boston baked beans. Yeah, all that.
Mm-hmm. I used to
Laffy Taffy. I still eat
rock candy. Big Blows was my favorite too. It'd be 1 cent.
All right, let's get to it.
I remember when Pop Rocks came out. I do.
All right, let's get to it. So this one is from the Money Guy. Yeah, let me hands too. And it talks about remember this strategy because this is gonna come back up later on in it. Maybe I should wait to do this one. Let's wait.
Let's wait for what?
I'm gonna wait to do this one. Let's look at this video. How to unlock 401k investment options. So let's get cracking on that. Let me make sure my volume is up so you all can hear. Let's see. Yeah. All right.
And Preston, the money guy.
All right, Brian, let's talk about another one that's kind of unique. Inside of 401k, provisions or secrets that you may not know about. Now, we all know when we have a 401k, we often have a list of investment options. And normally, plans have a couple of investment options. There was a study done by Fidelity that found the average plan offers about 15.4 investment options across the fund lineup. Now, some plans are better than others. Some have really low expense ratios of 0.37% or even lower. Some plans have really, really expensive investment options, all the way up to 1.5%. So not all plans are created equal. Well, every now and then, inside of certain 401ks, you may see a very unique option called a self-directed brokerage account, which essentially allows you to open up your investment options to the entire investment universe.
So this sounds like, to me, Bo, this could be a blessing or this could be a curse.
That's right.
So we kind of probably need to break down. I know you had, because we're going to talk about the two that we're most familiar with. We had Fidelity. They had a brokerage link.
And this is actually from the Fidelity website. If you're someone who has a Fidelity 401k, you log into Net Benefits, you go see it. This is how you know if you have this. Log in, click on investments, and if you see a brokerage link tab there, that's a huge indicator that you have access to a self-directed brokerage account inside your Fidelity 401k.
So that's
all right. So I wanted to highlight that because this could be one of those extra added bonuses to your 401k, accumulating wealth or and so forth, right? Generating and accumulating wealth, right? So check with if you have a Fidelity account. Also, I'm not sure, and I have to look this up, if they have one for Vanguard, because a lot of people have Vanguard accounts as well too, and they have stuff there. So get back to it.
Fidelity, but we also know Charles Schwab offers these. They call it a little different. Instead of brokerage link like Fidelity, they have what's called PCRA. What is that?
Personal Choice Retirement Account.
Okay, and you actually have that up on the screen as well. So if anybody has a Charles Schwab 401k, this is probably what your login screen would also look like if you had that as an option.
All right, so here we have Charles Schwab that has this option that they're showing, and Fidelity. Now, I know some of you all are probably in Vanguard, Charles Schwab, or some other type of investment. Just go into your account and check to see if you have it. You probably never paid attention to it and didn't even know what it was, and go from there.
But I wanted to kind of talk about those pros and cons because it is one of those things. I know when we get a brand new client, we always we want to know what options do they have in their 401k. And it's not uncommon, even though you said the typical plan has 15.4 options, it's not uncommon that it will be cash or some stable value. It's going to be basic equities like your large cap holdings, and it's going to be some internationals, and it's going to be some bonds. And that's about all I can think that is assured. Now, is there going to be small companies? Is there going to be mid-sized companies? Is it going to have, access to index funds? Are they going to have international by different versions? Are they going to have real estate? These are all the different things you could think about. But that's the part where it could get confusing or it could be a blessing to you. And we can kind of cover that a little bit more too.
All right, so I want to stop right there because it's got a good angle. You see this coaster right here? It says this $1 beer cost me $88. And what they're trying to highlight there is that $1 right now over time could be $88. So there is I think there's a calculator. They gotta find it. That shows that every time you spend money frivolously, what that money could have looked like over time. Like say if you spent $5, that $5 is actually costing you this amount of money over time. So it just gives you a good idea to utilize that particular one. So let's get back to it.
Yeah, it allows you to add asset classes beyond the traditional asset class that are available. Maybe you are that person who has a 7-figure retirement account. And so when you think about your pizza pie, your asset allocation, you're not able to fill in all those different pieces based on the 15 options available inside of your plan. So it does allow you to create a more robust investment strategy. It also may be the determining factor of whether it makes sense to roll in old 401ks into your new 401k, or whether it makes sense to roll in like an IRA rollover into your 401k. That broker or that self-directed option may be the thing that says, you know what, I'm okay doing this because I'm not going to lose any investment access to the universe of investments that I've previously been using.
And then we've already kind of alluded to this, and I love the fact that you just covered the backdoor Roth because that's a great planning opportunity.
All right, remember we talked about this backdoor Roth. Do y'all remember that? The backdoor Roth IRA? All right, so let's pull that back out. Let's go back over here. Backdoor, and I kind of touched on this IRA, right? It was over on Investopedia that I had looked it up right here. This backdoor Roth IRA. A backdoor Roth IRA is not an official type of individual retirement account. Instead, is an informal name for a complicated method used by high-income taxpayers to create a permanently tax-free Roth IRA, even if their incomes exceed the limits the tax law prescribes for the regular Roth ownership, right? So again, brokerage accounts, brokerages and investment firms that offer backdoor, that offer both traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs, provide assistance in pulling off this strategy, which basically involves converting a traditional into a Roth variety. Keep in mind that this is not a tax dodge. When you transfer assets of a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA, you owe taxes in that tax year on any funds, as well as earnings and appreciation and the transfer assets that have not been previously taxed. If the IRA has been funded solely with tax-deductible contributions, the entire value of the transfer assets will be taxed. However, with a Roth IRA, if you follow the rules, then you should owe no further taxes when you withdraw that money, right? And they go into some key takeaways about the backdoor Roth IRA. All right, so let's go back to it. So that's this one.
Don't leave those abandoned assets. This might allow you to bring it in, not really leave anything on the sidelines because you get to do full asset allocation, take advantage of just go beyond the basics of just stocks, bonds, and cash. Well, there are some pitfalls though. You have too much of a good thing and lead yourself know yourself well in the fact that if you're a person that has analysis paralysis, meaning that, because there's all kind of research out there, and there's a reason that they only give you 15 options in your 401k, because they've heard, like, if Fidelity gave you access to their hundreds of funds, they've actually found that people like don't know what to do, and they actually
end up doing nothing.
poor decisions, and they actually lead to not even making decisions at all. That is a negative thing. So if you find that you're going to be a person that's got analysis paralysis, or let's talk about, Bo, another thing. What if you get distracted trying to chase the hot dot? There was a headline that came out just this week that we ought to draw attention to. It made headlines everywhere that Fidelity is now going to allow Bitcoin in their 401ks.
Yeah, and look, does that make sense for your situation? Does it not make sense for your situation? That's probably an entirely different show for us to do. But having that access inside of a self-directed option may allow you to go further out on the risk spectrum than you should.
Now, speaking of that, now remember earlier we were talking about Social Security. Did y'all see that Social Security had $33 million in fraud this year so far? Did y'all see that? I'll bring up that video in a minute. But again, we got to keep in mind, like, what we're using to invest, and what vehicles are we investing in, and what's going to accumulate wealth and what's not going to accumulate wealth. We're going to do it slowly, but just to keep things in mind. All right.
Perhaps it's Bitcoin that you're thinking about, or maybe you want to invest everything in individual stock, or maybe you want to start doing some sort of penny stock strategy or some sort of day trading. Just because you have access to those types of things doesn't mean they're going to be the solution, the strategy that allows you to actually build towards financial independence.
Well, the only word of caution, because I'm not going to throw complete shade at this, even though I do think it's interesting. Now, a lot of people, because Berkshire Hathaway was having their annual shareholder meeting this week, and Warren Buffett made huge headlines because he said that he wouldn't take all the Bitcoin in the world for $25 or something like that. I mean, people howling in the aisles about it, because a lot of people who were throwing shade at Warren said, well, of course, he's over 90. He doesn't understand it. But it is one of those things where what I worry about is, and I'll take Bitcoin off the table.
All right, so let's start right there. So that $70,000 that we talked about earlier, are y'all going to take that whole $70,000 and throw it into Bitcoin? Who taking the whole 70 and throwing it into Bitcoin?
I might as well just go give it away. Like, I might get something back, but I don't know. It's too volatile. It might come up and just punch me in the chin, and I'll be like, "Oh, today is not the day."
No, we getting those. What, y'all don't believe? You ain't gonna. Y'all don't believe in putting all in, gang.
Nah. My G. Triple OG.
Triple OG, what up?
Triple OG.
Triple OG?
No.
All right. Just checking. I thought we had some aggressive investors in here. No aggressive investors?
You got to be watching that little needle like a hawk. Like, you can't do nothing else but just watch that little needle. Like, it's up. As soon as you hit the button, it might do something else. Like,
What? All right, let's get back to it.
We know that 401ks are the assets that people cross over into seven-figure status. And I think the reason that works so well is because, think about it, you have a incentivized version that the government gives you tax breaks on. You put money in, your employer puts money in. It's rewarding consistent behavior, because every time you get paid, you're putting money in. And this is the account that 29 years in the future, from when you start this process, that crosses into that millionaire status when you're in your late 40s. If all of a sudden we broke down those good behaviors as an automated wealth building process with the distractions of chasing the hot dot, whether it's individual stocks or whether it's Bitcoin, you might find that 29 years in the future doesn't lead to the same result as a consistent automated wealth building process.
And here's the truth of the matter. We mentioned some of our favorites. We mentioned Fidelity's brokerage link. We mentioned Charles Schwab's personal choice retirement account. Not all self-directed accounts are great. Some of them have a lot of fees for trading, or they're at smaller custodians that don't have robust investment options.
Which reminds me, are y'all watching the fees that you're having when you're doing your investments, when you're buying, when you're trading on these platforms? Are you looking at the fees? Make sure you watch the fees.
Options. Some plans may give you more freedom and more options than others. So just know, just because you have access to a self-directed choice doesn't mean it's one that you should take advantage of. You need to do the research yourself to see if this is actually a viable tool inside your tool belt. It's not uncommon. We may even have clients that have a brokerage link option or that have a PCRA option, but we opt not to use it because it doesn't make sense for their unique financial plan. So you need to answer the question, does this better help me achieve my financial goals, or is it more of a distraction?
All right, so there you have it. A self-directed brokerage account right there in your 401k, which is a potential possibility. You should go look at your Fidelity or your Charles Schwab account if you have those with with a company. They may actually lend you some more investment, right? All right, so let's get busy. Okay, top 100 highest paying jobs. This came out May 3rd of 2022. This is from Indeed, right? So let's scroll down. Cardiologist, 351. Anesthesiologist, 326. Orthodontist, 264. Psychiatrist, 224. Surgeon, 216. Periodontist, 214. Physician, 202. Dentist, 194. Internal medicine physician, 194. Obstetrician, 191. Nurse anesthesiast, 185. A pediatrician, 180. A general practitioner, I'm not sure what that means. They have a link there. 170. An enterprise architect manager, 168. Quantitative analysis, 153. Director of information security, 140. Enterprise architect, 142. And software architect, 139. A software engineer manager, 138. I found these to be very interesting because we know they can actually go a lot higher.
I mean, even the medical fields, they got a pediatrician underneath a nurse anesthesiologist.
Yeah. Right.
And a general practitioner is a doctor.
Yeah. As site reliability is 134, but I seen site reliability go as far as 4, 5, 6, 700, depending on what company you're at. Right. So D can drop this link for you all in case you want to go look at all the 100. I won't go to the top, all of them. I just went through the top 25. Here we go. Let me go back down. Cloud engineer, 123. CIO, 123. Data scientist, 121. Solutions engineer, 114. I think those numbers are a little low, but it gives you a roundabout idea. Again, they're just an average, so that means there's room from the average up to the higher end. So they're not talking higher end; they're just talking about in the middle on from the sample size that they used, right? So let's close that out, and you all can take a look at that as well, right? All right. So some of you all are not going to go to college, even though you should. Some, at least it's not. Some of you not going to go to college. Some of you all may not finish high school, but you should finish high school. You did the stats from the Social Security office saying that, hey, if you finish high school, you're gonna be better off than no high school. And if you go to college, your money will double. Now, what are you gonna take in college? That's on you. I hear people say they're doing cybersecurity, but I don't know what that means. When somebody that graduates with a cybersecurity degree, I don't know what that means in general, right? I don't know if there's some kind of specialization or something that you do. I don't know, right?
Yeah, when my brother was getting ready to graduate from high school, I was like, "Hey, you want to go in finance? Let's get you the Series 7. Was it? Is it Series 7?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, you want to be a realtor? You want to sell real estate? Let's get your real estate license. Like, there's so many other options instead of a 4-year college. Or if you want to go to a 2-year college, like, what you want to do, buddy?
All right, high paying jobs with little schooling required. Okay, you can be a dental hygienist. The top pay is 104. The job growth is 6%. A, a diagnostic medical sonographer, top pay is 105. Median pay is 75. A registered nurse, top pay is 116. Median is 75. Web developer, digital interface designer, top pay is 146. Median is 77. Respiratory therapist, 89 is the top pay. Median is 62. Cardiovascular, and the list goes on. Let me see if they got any more engineering, HVAC, construction equipment owner, licensed practitioner, practical or vocational nurse, clinical one. And then this one says other jobs, other high paying jobs with little schooling required, software developer, commercial pilot. Median pay is 93,000, top pay is 200,000. Network administrator, median pay is 84, top is 134. They have a special effects artist or animator at 77 to 142. You can be a police officer, and we saw the police officer in Seattle were making 300,000 to 400,000 because they were doing overtime with time and a half. Right? Let me see. The trouble with many conventional degrees, the many traditional 4-year degrees aren't all they're cracked up to be. For example, a labor market shows that on average, people with bachelor's degrees in majors like education and humanities have the lowest earnings of all their peers. Right? Unless you're gonna go teach somewhere at a university or something like that. Maximize your return on investment at a trade school. In contrast to most traditional 4-year institutions, career and technical schools specialize in putting students on a more defined path to succeeding in the job market, and they offer a chance to earn quick degrees or diplomas and complete fast career certification programs. This is what your CompTIA and your AWS and your a cloud guru and Pluralsight and all those things, including Red Hat. This is what they do. They sell courses. I saw somebody talk about selling courses, right? And let's talk about that, right? Let's really talk about that. Why do we get upset because somebody sells a course? Red Hat sells a course. A cloud guru sells a course. Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn, everybody sells a course. But when we skin tone wise sell courses, we be like, oh, that's the rigor. They're trying to get you. Okay, so would you prefer? Because I think what it is a level of blindsided trust. So if I make a course and I go throw it on LinkedIn, you will buy the course from there. But if I make a course and put it on my own platform, she's trying to get you. She's trying to get your papers. Well, they trying to get your papers too. But I guess you just trust them more because they just have a name behind them.
LinkedIn.
Right. But LinkedIn doesn't make the courses. It's people like me and Michael Jenkins and whoever else make the courses. Someone does the editing, put a little pretty bow around it, and then they throw it on their platform. I'm still the person making the course, is what I'm getting at. So
And you get more of your money on your own platform.
don't say
Also,
that.
also, I think there's other
Don't
things.
say that.
Huh?
Don't say I'm gonna get more money on my platform. That's not my goal. The goal is not for me to get money. The goal is for me to have people use the platform and learn. Right? We don't want to talk about the money, Dion, that we're gonna get. How dare you? How dare you take from your people? How dare you? That's why you ain't gonna get nowhere. Okay, I'm done.
I'm on the timeout.
You done. You come back.
Oh, I'm on the timeout. Hey, I mean, I had a course years ago. I had a guidebook, and this was before ebooks. I think they were out, but I made the book. I went to Kinko's, had the book printed and bound, and was selling them at $39.99, and it was worth every penny. And it was only, I say 15. It wasn't no more than 20 pages.
And I'm gonna address this out loud to test this.
Vic had a question.
Yeah, I responded to it. So Vic, I responded to it in the chat as well too. So you said, do LinkedIn courses hold more weight for job searches specifically on LinkedIn? It is not about whether or not they hold more weight. It's about what are you learning out of the courses, and then what are you able to showcase, say in a portfolio. Maybe you have a GitHub or GitLab or a repository set up, or you're able to speak intelligently about what you used and how you solve a problem using something, right? That's where your value is going to come in. And your value is also going to come in by putting those courses down or that training down on your LinkedIn so people can do keyword searches on LinkedIn and start hitting you up. It just gives you that more visibility. But what you should be taking from the course is, how can I get the skills or the knowledge from that course, and how can I use that in a job or in a situation in order to help my situation or the company, however you want to slice that, right? That's really what that is about. When you're looking, it's not necessarily about LinkedIn. It is more or less like, hey, here's my skill set, and I've been improving and increasing on my skill set. People
I
do
invest in
that.
myself, and I understand what I'm investing in. I'm just not
Yeah.
taking these courses to check them off to say I am stacked. Because if you have like a list of certs and you're still not employed, or you're getting these hits, because recruiters get different statistics on LinkedIn than the average person just looking for a job. And so you're getting all these, you're not getting a job, you're still not employed, underemployed. So that's a different conversation.
Yeah. Truth be told, what's going on, John? How you doing? Welcome back. For this. So again, like I say, this link here goes over trade schools, and they have it set up right, like, where you can go find a school, college and universities here. If you scroll down right here, we go find the school and then your zip code. I never used it. I'm just gonna type in 332. Let the chips fall where they may. So Lincoln Tech, UEI College, Fortis, SNHU, the College of Westchester. I just put in a zip code and just let the chips fall where they may. Select schools. There are schools near you that match your criteria. Blah blah blah. You can refine your search. But again, this is just to talk about trade schools. Some, like I say, some people may go to college, some people may not. Tanya Vaughn, thank you so much for becoming a new member. We appreciate you. Right.
And I implore everybody to go look up their local junior colleges and see what courses they offer, what courses they offer, also what certificate programs, and also what trades schools, what trades that they offer. I know one college not too far from me, they had a construction program that they no longer have. They got a CDL program. They got a mechanics program. When I first got here, there were a lot of nursing programs. In the time that I've been in Florida, they changed that curriculum to a lot of tech, and now it's shifting back to a lot of trade stuff. So that's been interesting to see where
Yeah, and
higher education is going.
RPA, robotic process automation, is also a big factor as well too, right? Where they're teaching people about it, and no low code, no code is another one too. Those two are very huge, very on demand skill in Florida, um, Alabama, and as well as Virginia. Surprisingly, right? So you'd be surprised as to where the actual trends are going, if you want to look at it that way. All right. Low code, no code. Low code, no code. Low. L-O. Low code, no code. Right. All right. So next one up. Rich college sports fans are funneling millions to athletes. So I don't know if y'all saw the response from Deion Sanders to Nick Saban this week. Uh, Pretty
Saw the
controversial.
article, but I didn't read it, and I was just like,
Yeah.
Coach Prime in on that.
Yeah.
Coach Prime in the long game.
Yeah.
If you follow Coach Prime, you know that Coach Prime is for the long game.
Hmm. Yep. Let me see. Deion Sanders fires back. Let me go over here, pull this over. Right. Deion Sanders fires back at Nick Saban after Alabama coach claimed Jackson State paid top recruit $1 million. Right. And so we talking about Nick Saban. I mean, can we just pause for a second? Have a lot of these major institutions have been paying these kids for years, recruiting, whatever the case may be. Here go HBCU trying to do something, and even if he did pay him, and he said he didn't, but even if he did, why do you care? All that money that you make, all that money that institution makes, like, why do you care? So, Alabama coach Nick Saban set to fire college football season on Wednesday night by flat out claiming that Texas A&M bought every player on this team through name, image, and likeliness deals. However, the Aggies weren't the only ones in Saban's crossfire in a nearly 7-minute wide-ranging rant. He had a rant stating that Jackson State and Coach Deion Sanders were also targeted when Saban said the Tigers paid a recruit 7 figures to sign a national letter of intent. Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year, who was really a good Division I player, to come to their school. Said Nick Saban. It was in the paper, and they bragged about it, and no one said anything about it. Right. So now that's the reason why I'm mentioning this, right? Because I know you probably think this is off topic, but again, it's not. So now sports fans, like i.e. me, who likes a particular player, to get with a group of people to entice and encourage a particular athlete to come to a school, right? So when we start talking about this wealth and what people are doing with that wealth, here's another avenue that people are probably going to put their, if not have, they haven't already put their money into it, right? So again, you ask about what the return on investment is. It depends on how they set things up, right? Depends on what the clause is. Son, you need to go out there and you need to get 30 touchdowns this year. If not, if not, it's gonna be X, Y, Z. It depends.
Sure. And
So,
again, because it's against the rules, I'm curious that, like, what is
well,
the
it's not
offer?
against the rules anymore.
That's
It's not against. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
This is what Deion Sanders was talking about. He's like, now we're opening up kids to influence and trying to balance money being thrown at them they've never ever seen before they even get to professional. He's like, these kids are making more money as people going to college, kids going to college as professional athletes.
But and you know what? It's like they are reaping the benefits of students past civil rights. They're reaping the civil rights movement, you
Right.
know. So it's just like these kids work hard. Like some of them work so hard. Like college sports is probably worse than the NFL because
Yep.
you're doing all that work to get to the NFL. Your body, your mind. I mean, I remember when my cousin went from high school football to college football, and he was like, just look at my neck. He's like, I can't even play. He was like, but I am required to be out there at every practice, same regiment. Like, that's a job on top of your studies.
Yep.
It's full time. Why wouldn't they get compensated? And like anywhere, why wouldn't my alma mater want to recruit the best players?
Well, it's not about that. It is now opening up a can of worms to say, well, where's the line in the sand, right? And you can equate this to tech too, because people get poached by companies all the time. Right? That's one of the big things. Like, stop poaching our engineers. Apple had that, Amazon had that, and we're gonna bring up some of that too, right? So again, that intrinsic value or intrinsic conversation that we just had, here it comes around again, where we're getting that mastery, that purpose, that, again, I'm in college, and I'm from high school to college. I have a purpose, high school to college with those kids following along the career, not just in football, but even in track and field and so forth. Like, their value, to their passion too, and their training to get to that next level, to be that supreme elite athlete, is always at an all-time high, right? So I saw this as a play as well too, where people will start setting up. They already have agencies, but not just agencies, but advertisers are going after the high school student. They're going after the kindergarten student. They're already showcasing these students prior to them even being really fully functional. So now let's flip this table. We talked about the student. What about the parents that doesn't have the educational, the financial educational mentality? They don't understand the contracts. They don't understand what the lawyers are saying. They don't understand X, Y, and Z, because now they're managing minors. They're managing their
So
child.
it's my kid getting pimped out earlier. Right? I mean,
Right,
even though they were, now this is a whole different bag of worms
right.
on the
And
level, because it could be taken away from the studies and the what do you call that routine of it all, of football.
right. And then I want to say this too. Just because the man is there don't mean he know how to read this contract. He ain't never seen a contract like this before.
What man are we
The
talking about?
dad.
Oh, the dad.
Yeah, just don't make the assumption just because the dad is there, he understands the contract. He's never seen a contract like that before, or his son could potentially be already signed up to go to college in his sophomore or freshman year, uh, in high school, to do X, Y, and Z, or go off to college. Like, there's still this gray area
Yeah.
that I've seen. And then I also say that when I was in Vegas, I was watching everybody at the draft, betting on the draft. Like, it was heavy. Like, people were dressed up, sitting down, betting on the draft, and that was going to entail, who was going to go where, what money was going to go where. When you got the high rollers, and they got a section off, and then they got people standing there. That's some personal security guard. Oh, that person probably got some money on them, right? So, just a little FYI that I found interesting, and something to follow as well too, when we're talking about this, not from just a tech perspective, but just to be an aware perspective. Like, here, look, eager boosters all over the country are forming groups. One collective at the University of Florida raised 5 million. Another university at the University of Tennessee, it aims to generate 25 million each year, according to the Athletic. The website reported in March that one student clinched a $8 million deal.
You know what I just thought? That kicker that you follow on YouTube.
Yeah, destroying.
Now, just to think, like, the kids go, they have hopes of going to the NFL to make this big money. What if you start making the big money before you even get to the NFL? And then at the end of college and be like, I don't need the NFL anymore. Like, I've made my pot. I'm doing something different. That's scary.
Right, but it's a good thing. No, well, we still got some
I mean, it's an option.
possibility of some CTE, maybe.
Yeah, it's an option. I mean, that's a black hole. It's so many pros and cons of that.
Yeah. Now you start looking at commercials. You're starting to see uh, uh, revenue from people wanting to wear the clothes, the likeness, the skins, the games.
And this is each individual player. It like you can pick your fan favorite from the gate. You don't have to just have the team as a collective or the quarterback. Like,
I'm Kanye. I give this man 10 million. I want him to go to this school because I want him to be a quarterback over there. Because I have the
we
money
need
to
him.
do it.
We need him over here.
Right. So just something
That's deep.
Something to think about. I saw under wealth management, but again, now it's these wealth managers, right, are going to start targeting those kids coming out of high school, going into college, to start talking about, well, if you go here, this is going to do X, Y, and Z. This is going to get you this. This is going to get you this long term, and so forth and so on. So just something to keep in mind there.
Right. And when they're underage like that, now you have to bring the parents in.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a level of financial literacy.
All right, so let's get into it. Some white collar workers are secretly balancing two full-time jobs, earning up to $600,000. A report is saying they dropped in and out of multiple meetings to avoid getting caught. 600,000. This is what we call the overemployed. There is a whole on Reddit and is it called Quora about being overemployed. You can go on YouTube and find this as well too if you went to YouTube. I think Evelyn posted this as well too, but we can go here and we can talk about overemployed. So that video we watched earlier about funding your 401k and then backdooring Roth IRA, we're gonna get a little bit more into it in the next one, but now this is really gonna kind of bring home some ideas, right? So this is the one she showed about I got getting caught, but the guy his folks was like, yeah, cool, you can still work that. Here's another one right here. What I learned from working two remote jobs. Overemployed. 12 rules for working two remote jobs. Red flags. My overemployed desk setup. Making People are making millions through remote work. Here's how can two remote jobs, blah 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 blah, two remote jobs here. So I mean, there's a whole, like I say, there's a whole thing around it. I won't go into all the details about it.
Is it possible? Yes.
It's absolutely possible.
Is it possible? Absolutely possible.
You get one check.
However,
one
we
week,
advocate that you
do your due
it's a
diligence.
strategy.
Yeah, you need to come. So those strategies that I talked about with your whole life insurance policy, your term life insurance policy, your annuities, your backdoor Roth IRA, your real estate investment, your crypto investment, all these things start to come into play. Just imagine, we did the numbers. We'll do the numbers again so you all can see exactly what I'm talking about when we're talking about this. So
I mean, for how long? It depends on you. If you make your goal, you can ditch a job, and it doesn't have to start off as two full-time jobs. You can have a full-time job and a part-time job. If you've been to the meetups before, it is possible. You could be working a full-time job and have a contract job on the side. It may not. You may make more money, and it's not as demanding as your number one job, so there's all different types of ways to do it, but you have to do what works for you.
All right, let's say you got one job that's paying you 240. We're gonna keep into states that don't have state income tax. I'm going to need some paper, so let me do a text edit here. Let me do a new. Well, I guess I can do this one too, because this could be another strategy to get you your 100K that you need to pay back, right? So overemployed, um, overemployed. We're gonna say optional or possible strategy. This is to pay back that 100K that you got to pay back because you're doing X, Y, and Z. All right, so overemployed. All right, where my mouse at? All right, so I want to bring this down some like that, and we're gonna pull this over to here, bring it down a little bit more. All right. So that's cool right there. All right. Suppose you get a job and it's paying 240 a year, and let's go look up tax brackets. And we're staying in one of the 12 states, 9 states. Well, it's 12. It's 9 states, but it's 12 if you got certain provisions. But it's a total of 9 states. All right, so the 240, we're gonna say you're single. Right? Let's show 3 more rows here. All right, so at 240, single, your tax bracket is 35%. So let's go here. Let's go. I don't know why I didn't write this down last week. Minus 35. And that gives you 65. Yeah, right. That's what it was. So now we're at 240, and we're at 65% on our taxes. And we're gonna divide that by 12 months in a year. So that's 13,000 a month. So we got 240K at 0.65 equals to 156. Right, 1,000 divided by 12, which comes out to 13. We'll say 13K a month. Right, and this is job 1. Oops. All right. So now let's go look at job 2. Let's make up a number. And we got job 2. And say at job 2, you got another job. I don't know. We could be fancy and free if we want to, and say that job paying us, I don't know, 190 a year. 190 a year. And job 2 at 190 a year, single, your tax bracket is 32%. Right? 32%. So we're at 190 K times 32%, which is what's that? 860? Is that 68? Am I wrong right there? Is it 68? Let's see. 100 minus 32. Yep, 68. All right, so now we got 190 times 0.68. And that comes out to 129, and divide that by 12. That comes out to 10,766. So, all right, so we got that multiplied by 0.68, and that's going to equal to it's going to equal to 129 200, and we divided that by 12, and that's going to come out to 10,766. So can I just for all intents and purposes say 11,000 a month, roundabout 11K a month, and this is after taxes. So your total after taxes is 24K a month. And before taxes, it's probably 48,000 a year. 48,000 a month. But we can go and do that real quick. So we can do 240 plus. Well, I can't do that. Let me not do that. Before taxes, it's at 240. Oops, come back. 240 divided by 12 is 20,000 a month. So your gross is 20K a month. And I'll tell you why that's important in a minute. Let's put it down here. All right. And we'll put gross here. Gross, we'll say 190 divided by 12. 190 divided by 12. Oh, I hate when I do that because I'm like, where did the decimal go? I know I can add 3 zeros. I think it's 15,888, something like that. We have 15,833. So that is 15,833. All right. So your total gross will be 35,833. 35,833 a month. Your gross. Right. So let's go back and look at what can you do with 24K a month? What can you do with 24K a month? Right? Drop in the chat what you can do with 24K in a month also. Just wanted to highlight that, and then we're gonna get back to this article. Drop in the chat what you can do. All right, so let's get back into the article. All right, so what are they doing? All right, so some white collar workers are secretly holding down 2 full-time jobs. It can be tricky to balance 2 jobs, but some are earning more than $200,000. They can drop in and out of meetings or avoid them entirely to ensure they're not caught. They said, looking. Oh yeah, they're right. All right, so let's go ahead. Some white collar workers are taking advantage of the remote work by holding down 2 full-time jobs and not telling either employee. Vic, you don't know? What do you start? That means y'all ain't been listening. You said, where do you start? That means you ain't been listening. All right. Real estate, buying homes, buy a boat, buy a jet, rent a boat out, rent a jet, rent a boat out, buy a boat, rent them out, throw parties, buy a house, you Airbnb, buy a tiny home, buy some land, rehab, do the birth strategy, buy a Rolex, build a tiny home village, do some crypto mining. Like, the sky's the limit. The question is, which one of these are you living off of? Are you gonna live off the 13K, or are you gonna live off the 11K? Are you gonna keep the 13K and then invest the 11K, or are you gonna live off the 11K and invest the 13K? Or are you just gonna ball till you fall? Ball. Right? What you gonna do? All right, so Wall Street spoke to six workers who have held multiple full-time jobs. They told the publication that it's a difficult balancing act, but one that is worth it for the double the salary. Most earn between $200,000 to $600,000 a year. The journal verified the workers' claims by examining offer letters, employment contracts, pay stubs, and corporate emails. The workers said they used the extra money to pay off student loan debt, top up their kids' college savings accounts, buy luxury goods like an engagement ring and a sports car. Right? Employment lawyer said that the journal that's holding two jobs at once didn't violate federal or state laws, but it could breach employment contracts and people get fired. So how are you gonna max out your 401k? What does that look like? What are you investing in your 401k? Like which one? Which one has a match? Which one doesn't? Which one um does X, Y, and Z? Like when we're talking about overemployment. And these two jobs are just the top of the iceberg. There, like John said, there are some people that holding out three or four. Contracting, maybe I wouldn't necessarily contract, but what if you are able to hold down three jobs, and maybe the other job is paying you, I don't know, you set your minimum 100,000, 200,000, whatever the case may be. But again, it's time. It is meetings. It's things you got to juggle, life, this, that, and other. Now, here's the question: do you go outside when you have this? Do you go outside? Do you care about going to meet up with your friends? What does your social life look like? Are you married? Do you have kids that you have to take care of? Are you the sole custody or the sole parent of that child? Right? Um, just curious, like what does that look like? Right? I'm gonna wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, this is the day I'm gonna get found out. I saw what engineer said. Many workers said they have strategies to get around difficult situations and didn't work more than 40 hours a week between both jobs. Right? A data scientist in Richmond, Virginia told the journal that he was teaching online coding classes as his second job, and his first boss first and his first when his boss asked for a video call. He told his students to take a short break and use the other computer to join. He said another worker told the journal he regularly attends two meetings and once by joining one on his computer and the other one on his phone. If he was asked to speak in both meetings at the same time, he answered the questions in one call and dropped out of the other before joining and saying he had problems with his internet. And whenever possible, he tried to avoid meetings completely by telling colleagues he could help them on Slack instead. Let's be honest, you have to be pretty bad at being sly to get caught, he said. The website overemployed, which focuses on the benefits of holding down two jobs, has tips for workers on how to do it, such as being visible at meetings and carefully watching what they post on LinkedIn. That LinkedIn will get you. One of his co-founders said that he started applying for second jobs last year because he expected to be laid off from his job in San Francisco tech company. He got an offer for a role at another nearby tech company and planned to quit his initial job, but decided against it. I'm gonna stay. At his first job, he started handing off some responsibilities to new colleagues and even took a whole month off using the company's unlimited time off, citing C19 burnout. And he told the journal the practice was around before C19. One software engineer in Europe told the journal that he took a second job, a contract assignment in 2018 by telling his employers he was attending a cybersecurity course in London. He spent several months in the city and earned an extra 350 a day. He has been swapping between second jobs ever since, he said. Right? Oh yeah, that's the end of it. Right. And so it's all about the company, the work, how you're going to do that, how you're going to juggle between that, what is it going to be like, and so forth. $24K a month. Alfred says create an LLC for yourself for $50K a year. Have an LLC, be a holding company, and create other daughter companies that create investments in real estate, crypto, and company buyer. Vic says 15 acres, nice house, balanced portfolio. I'm super simple. Okay, he works for NASA. Yep, yep. Yeah, you don't have time. You don't have time, right? So again, what are you gonna do at 24K a month? 24K a month, maxing out your 401K, your Roth IRA. So here we go. We're gonna get into another video because this is why I showed you the first one, right? There's a potential option there. The employer has to set that up. But what if the employer didn't set it up? Let's look at this as a potential option, right? All right, so here we go.
Money Guy.
Every time we cover this, I can't help but think about Daniel and his awesome slide cover. We should have brought it up, but there's an apex predator out there hunting, and it's because we talk about what do we love? We love Roth IRAs. Yep. They're one of the most powerful retirement savings vehicles out there because they grow tax free. Yep. That's right. You don't get a tax deduction on your contribution. However, once you contribute that money, once you invest that money, whatever it grows to become is completely tax-free when you pull it out in the future. And that's why, once again, I bring it back to compounding growth. If you put $1 in something when you're 20, especially a Roth IRA, and then you pull it out at retirement and it's worth the $88, think about the fact that 87 of the $88 grew completely tax-free. That's really powerful stuff. But we know the catch with this is, the government only lets us put $6,000 a year into Roth IRAs. Well, there is what's called a mega backdoor Roth IRA that could push that number way up, way beyond. I'm talking about a factor of 10 on what you can put into these mega Roth IRAs.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't realize is when you have a 401k, we're all familiar with pre-tax contributions. We put money in, we get a tax deduction. And then most of us are familiar with Roth contributions. We put money in, we don't get a tax deduction, but they grow tax-free. What you may not recognize is that some 401ks actually have a third investment option. That contribution option is called an after-tax 401k contribution. It is different than doing a Roth contribution, where Roth and pre-tax are limited to $20,500 a year for those under 50. After-tax contributions don't have that same limit. You can actually contribute all the way up to the Section 415 limit of $61,000. So for folks who have high incomes and they have this type of strategy or this type of availability in their plan, they can do exactly what Brian is talking about, a mega backdoor Roth where they max out their salary deferral at $20,500. They're high income. They're probably doing that pre-tax. And then their employer puts in some matching, some nominal number based on whatever their salary is. Well, then any difference that's left between that sum and $61,000, you can do an after-tax 401k contribution. Well, if all you do is the after-tax, you put the money in and the earnings grow tax deferred, just like any other normal retirement account. When you go to pull it out, you would pay ordinary income taxes on the earnings and you'd pull out the after-tax contributions tax-free. However, if you are executing this mega backdoor Roth strategy, you can actually convert those after-tax 401k contributions to Roth dollars so that when they start growing, they actually grow tax-free as well. So when you go to pull...
All right, so we're going to get into this now. Like, y'all heard all of this, right? Right? So people who are overemployed, making anywhere from $200,000 to $600,000. There's one out there where the one guy, he had 5 jobs, he was making $1 million, right? So now we're talking, look, truth be told, like, I'm going to replay it back. I'm going to rewind. Now we're talking about this back door, right? And then they're labeling it and calling it a mega backdoor Roth IRA. I actually reached out to some people that I know that are actually doing this. They'll remain nameless on this. I won't talk about it with them. It's a crew. It's a whole crew. I know the crew. But one of them saying was the biggest question mark is in the service distribution question. It's definitely a great strategy. The 61K number is also on a per employer basis. So even though you have that 61K, that difference, right? You got 2 jobs or 3 or whatever. So now you can do that on both jobs, right? So again, up to 61K. And it says, so if you're overemployed, there's a whole community around this. You can mega backdoor one of your after-tax 401ks and keep stacking the other one. Depends on how you're living. Now, I'm gonna say this. If it were me, don't have your head hurting. if it were me, I would actually probably try to live off of half of that on that, and probably try to live off of like $5,000 or $6,000, and then go from there. Jason Dykes, this is a Linux channel, but we're talking about skill sets and people getting employed with their skill sets, and then again, people getting employed with their skill sets and they're making their money. And where do you invest it? We go over skill sets every week. I have more stuff to go over as well too, right? So let's get back into it. And D can drop this link. Let me give you this so you all can go watch this after the show, and then go from there. All right, let me drop this in the back chat for D, and we'll go from there.
Well, all of those dollars out, they're completely tax-free. So we see a lot of folks who not only...
Hold on. Jason, all the Linux videos are on the channel, right? They're on the channel. Let me pause because see that you're looking straight for Linux. Is there something in particular you want to talk about with Linux? You want to do an Ansible? You want to spin up GitLab? You want to do GitHub? You want to spin up Kubernetes? You want to do a install? What is it that you're actually looking for, right? So let me go back over here to Women in Linux. Women in Linux. You can go right here to playlist. Here's our meetups right here. There's a whole meetup of
this conference will now be recorded
that we do. All right. So we're going to continue where we left off last week, and our meetups every Wednesday that we do Linux every Wednesday. This show is Tech, Stocks, and Jobs, and How We Linux, and Tech, Stocks, and Jobs on here on Saturday. So it's kind of free reign. We're talking about getting your skill sets and then building up from there. If you would like more videos other than just the Linux videos, if you go over here to playlist, actually, we have a podcast that we did on how to be a CTO. We have interviews that we've done, keynote speeches that I've done. You want to talk about vaults, if you want to talk about Terraform. It's also a playlist for 10 minutes to go. We talk about a variety of topics. If you came here slowly for Linux and not talking about building wealth and using your tech skills to generate that wealth and accumulation, this might not be the time for you right now. All right, so let's get back to it. All right.
Can they do the $6,000 Roth IRA backdoor? They can do up to oftentimes $30,000, $35,000 of mega backdoor Roth contributions via their 401k that has this after-tax 401k contribution option.
There are some things you need to think about here, first of all, and we have a nice little diagram. We'll go over a decision-making chart on it, but I also want to make everybody very aware. That's $61,000 that Bo put out there. That's very frothy when you think about that becoming tax-free Roth. But you always have to be careful. You don't want to squeeze that free money out from your employer, because if you have an employer, especially, it's one thing to know what their matching formula is, but if you have an employer that does a variable profit sharing contribution every year, depending upon, you need to be very careful, because especially if there's a lot of variance in what your employer puts in, and if they're very generous, you don't want to, make the decision that you're going to load up that after tax to the point that you squeeze out. Because guess what? If you reach $61,000 and then some of that your employer tries to give more money above $61,000, but because you've already pre-funded the after tax, they just get to keep their money. It just doesn't go into your account. So that's why it's definitely a measure.
So let's look at that, right? You hear what they're saying? Like, you don't want to go in where your employer is going to miss out on contributing to your tax. What's going on, Watson? How you doing? What's going on, Watson? How you doing? All right, so let's go.
Measure twice, cut once. But here's the other part of this. This is complicated. There is an entire group of questions you have to answer to even know if this strategy works for you.
So we're going to walk through sort of a flow chart you can think about, but this is a prime example. If you're somebody who's thinking about carrying this out, perpetrating this kind of strategy, this is a perfect example of when it makes sense to take the relationship to the next level.
We are not financial advisors. We're only giving you suggestions. You can seek these guys out right here. This is why I play their video, so you can go directly to their website and check them out and see what they're talking about. Set up an appointment or whatever if it's something that you're interested in, right? Or seek a CPA.
Because it is involved. So here's our little flow chart we put together. Step one, have you maxed out your 401k? If the answer is no, go max out your regular contributions before you think about this strategy. If the answer is yes, then you have to say, okay, am I allowed to make non-Roth, remember Roth is different, after-tax contributions? If the answer is no, you don't have access to this strategy. If the answer is yes, then you have to ask, does this plan allow for in-service distributions or in-service Roth conversions? If the answer is no, all you're able to do is grow tax-deferred dollars, tax-free dollars. So no, the strategy doesn't work. If the answer is yes, if you add up all the contributions to your 401k, are you under the $61,000 limit in 2022? The answer to that is no, you can't do the strategy. The answer is yes, then you can do a mega backdoor. You can see, or if you're listening out there on iTunes or Spotify, this is hairy. This is complicated. This is financial mutant territory. So if you are someone who's thinking about doing this, trying to figure out if it makes sense, we would encourage you to reach out, think about taking the relationship to the next level to make sure that you measure twice and cut once before you put yourself in this kind of strategy.
It's so interesting. When we review plans, I know some of the big auto manufacturers and others that we've looked at and reviewed. When I see these provisions built into the plans, I'm always like, who's the financial mutant that designed this plan? Because somebody knew what they were doing. They structured this just perfectly so their employees, their executives specifically, would have access to this. So it's important for you to kind of use the tools, use the resources we're sharing with you so you understand that these tools might be built into your plan. How do you maximize them? How do you take advantage of them so you're also getting that benefit? That's why we're here creating content. As Bo shared with you, part of the abundance cycle is we'll love on you, give you tons of free advice. But when you start feeling like you need a co-pilot or you've reached a level of success and just you're the CEO now of a 7-figure financial portfolio, you might need to bring in a CFO to help you make those decisions, to ride co-pilot with you. We know that's the abundance cycle. That's why we can love on you for years, knowing that eventually you will graduate. If you're still in that journey, though, I would invite you to go to moneyguy.com/resources. We have tons of free deliverables. Go check that out. And if you want to accelerate, you've heard us talk about the financial order of operations. You've heard us talk about the net worth tool that we use, the spreadsheet that's going to let you have a dashboard. Because it's not just a net worth. It's actually a dashboard so you can track your successes. Use it as a communication tool with your loved ones. I want you to go to learn.moneyguy.com and we have you covered.
All right. So
When you're ready to take your relationship to the next level, we're here for you.
Yeah. Well, I said thank you for joining and becoming a member on the 100K Earners. Shout out to all the members that have joined today. Again, I only provide you this because this right here, when we're talking about these workers that have these two jobs that are working, two full-time jobs, and they're earning between 200 and 600,000, you can't just sit there on W-2 money. Like that's, you're gonna get ate up. You're going to get ate up. So you need to find tax shelters, you need to find places where you can put that money and grow that money. Again, we talk about the four different steps of wealth. We talk about wealth building. We talked about wealth accumulation. And we also talked about wealth preservation. On the earlier show, I know you all didn't catch this, but Donette stated that her mother is 89 and she had an annuity and a savings plan. And because we're living longer, like I said before, we're living 30 to 40 years after retirement, right? We're not stopping at 65 and at 66, we just at 66. That's not what's happening. We're living 30 years, 30 to 40 years afterwards. So what does your future really look like? Long-term
Her
investment.
mom timed out of it. Like,
Yeah, her mom,
are you planned for, lady?
yeah, she wasn't planning for, 30 or 40 years after retirement, So again, it is one of those things that we have to keep in mind what's happening when we decide to retire. And I'm saying 65, right? But some of you are retiring at 40. Some of you are retiring have a goal to retire at 40. Some are retiring at 30. Some are retiring at 45, and some are retiring at 50. Well, from 50 to 30 or 40 years, do you have enough saved up for 40 years? Will $1 million last you 40 years in retirement, right? And remember, you're 50, so you can still go back to work and you can still leverage some things. You're not drawing down your Social Security or disability yet, but you could probably still do some stuff part time where you're living off of part time. Don't be the guy that I sent D, and I think I showed it on the channel, didn't I? That went over to Thailand.
I don't think you shared it on the channel.
Okay. Well,
He
long
went
story.
to the Philippines.
It was the Philippines. Well,
He
anyway,
went to the Philippines
he went to the
to
Philippines
retire.
to retire.
He was set up to retire. He had planned it out to a T.
He went over there, looking for young hottie toddy. And them young hottie toddies
He got him a thriller in Manila, all right.
ran through that money.
He built a house first. He did build himself a house. He found him a wife.
No, he didn't find a wife. He found a girlfriend. And the
They
girl
was gay, got married.
No. Not the
Oh,
first.
that was but they had a baby.
No. The first.
This guy had a baby by this lady in the
That
video.
was the second one. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The first one he linking up with him on an online app.
Oh, the host of the show.
No, not the host. This is the same
The one
guy.
with the white hair.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first one. I didn't see the second video I saw was the guy who was talking.
No, it's one video. Same video. The guy had met this lady. He flew over there and met this lady. He met the lady. He was like, "Oh, she loved me long time. Yeah, woo, woo, woo." Right. So then he in turn started spending time with her, and he was like, "Yo, she is burning through my cash." So he's like, "I gotta get rid of her." So he gets rid of her. And I think she was older because he was like, she started moving her mama in, her cousins, her friends, everybody started moving in. So they was burning through his cash. Then he left, and then he broke up with her, and then that's when he met this other woman. Now, mind you, he's 56. He meets this woman that's 19. He ends up having a baby by her.
Oh, it was two women.
Yeah. He ends up
totally missed that it was two different women. I was like, I know this man had a baby by somebody, and they all living in a house.
Yeah. And
he got a room in his own house.
Right. And so then he ended up having a baby by her, and he's broke because he was hoping to have his money that he had was supposed to take him to when his retirement kicked in. But now his retirement doesn't kick in for 2 years and he doesn't have any money. And he was homeless because I think.
And they abusing him.
And they're abusing him. And he's lost all his weight and so forth. And so this guy, this expat over there found him on the street and took him in. And he was like, I'm trying to get him back into good health because he's lost so much weight. He was nervous. He could tell. He kept looking around like somebody was going to come get him. Like, it was crazy.
They've been giving him the blues. They like, get out of this house so it can be our house. Like,
right. So, but what I'm simply saying is this, right? You don't know what you're going to be doing. You hope you know, but you really don't know what you're going to be doing once you retire. If you retire at 50 or 40 and you still have 30 or 40 years left, you can go travel, you can go do those things, but put protections in place to protect yourself.
And even if you go in, you retire and you're single, and say you find love, have you planned for, have a cushion for a love in your life?
Right.
Because this guy was like, he didn't think his money was going to go as quick as it did till it was gone.
Right. And so now he's on the hook for taking care of a 19-year-old and a child. Right. So now he's on the hook for a 19-year-old and a child.
And lucky he have a house that's paid for. He paid it off. So he has somewhere to stay, but he is hungry and abused.
I gotta look at it again. But again, I'm just simply saying you don't know where life is gonna take you. You don't know what your obstacles are. So even if you do retire, maybe set yourself up to be a consultant. You could be a Linux consultant. You could be a blockchain consultant. You could be a storage consultant, whatever the case may be, but stay up on what's going on inside of the actual tech field, because we are tech focused here. Stay what's going on up in tech. And that could be, you could go attend a conference every year. You could write a blog. You could host a podcast. You have some other generating income other than waiting for your retirement to kick in. But again, you could have an annuity where you are drawing down on your retirement now at 3 or 4%, where you're getting $50,000 a year on retirement because you're in retirement phase. And then when you get 65, that gets ramped up or what have you. Or maybe you ramp up now and go ball till you fall, and then in retirement you're like, what? I'm slowing down. I don't know.
And what was the reason he didn't go get like a remote job? Like, what was his job he retired from physical? Did they mention what that was?
I don't know. How are you that old, Miss?
We have the same questions. But now that they have this male birth control pill, I'm pretty sure it's going to be sky high. But, the options for men are not plenty. It's like, get a vasectomy or don't, or use a condom. But, I mean, that 19-year-old, she could have seen him as a come up as well. I mean, 56 and 19, you're old enough to be my grandfather. Let's just call a spade a spade. Like, no. I know a man now, and he's very flattered by his young Tinder. And I was like, well, make sure you had that wrapped up. Like, it can happen. It can happen. Like, you think it won't happen to you till you're in it. Then it should be like, we're having a baby. We trying to slip her birth control.
Now, Marshana, you say you're not sure. You're not sure what this stuff means. What do you mean? You're not sure about investing in your 401k and having a backdoor Roth IRA, or you're not sure about being overemployed and having 2 jobs. Which aspect are you looking at, or you're confused about? I should say. Right. The other thing I also, on my journeys here, I'll get to this website. I mean, this in a minute. But let's go look at overemployed, because that was the article. Well, it was the website that was mentioned here, and where they talk about suggestions and stuff. Right, overemployed is a community of professionals looking to work two remote jobs, earn extra income, achieve blah 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 blah. Sure, yes, that's right. Thank you. I'm not a robot. Yeah, thank you. All right. So, how does background check work for multiple employments? Uh, how to pay off debt? How to get into tech? The secret recipe. How to get into tech? The secret recipe. Part one, part two. 6 reasons why overemployment, aka career polygamy, is here to stay. Polygamy. Two in-person jobs, from unemployed to 3 months in 6 months. From unemployed to 3 jobs in 6 months. Let's see, they have 12 comments. Can I get it? Okay, yeah. Not yet. 30K in debt, jobless, hidden gym, contract roles, contracting job at a FANG. They're making annual pay of 127. Job two and job three are paying 141 and 134. So let's go pick the calculator up here. Let's do the calculator. And what I say, the first one 127. So 127 plus 141 plus 134. They're bringing in 402 a year. And so they have their set up some way. They got it 402,000. Remember, this is all, it may be all W2. It said contract work. J2 is a contract business. This one is a PM role with a major. Okay, so two of them are contracts. So probably two of them fall under a business under LLC, and one is a W2. So the one he's got to really worry about is these two that are contracts. The ones that's W2 max out the 401k. The other one he's going to have to probably set up a SEP, a self-employed IRA, where he could donate to the IRA and backdoor that as an employee and employer as well too, right? So for two a year, since it's contracting, I don't have other benefits such as stocks, company insurance. I've noticed that when you're a contractor, the focus on you is a little less than an FTE. I also feel like this gives me leniency to work multiple jobs. The flexibility and the balance of the contract work can make up for the lack of RSUs and the benefits. Overemployment tips. I use Logitech MX Master Keyboard since it gives me a chance to connect to all three laptops at once, and I can switch between them with the click of a button. I also have all work-related apps on a separate work phone that gives me the chance to respond to any chats and emails immediately. And they also got other tech tips as well too. Here's the one with the person with the 5 jobs that I told you about, and that person is doing 1.2 million, from 16 an hour to 1.2 million. These are not things I'm advocating. I'm just telling you there is a group of people that are out there that are actually doing this, and how do you do that? Oh, and you said no, I didn't coin the term overemployment. That's what they call it. Let's see what you say. The IRA backdoor stuff. Okay, yeah. We'll probably what I probably should do is make a video on it. We should host something, especially for all those that have joined as members as well there, and really break this down. Really, what I want to do is actually bring in someone that could talk about like a CPA to really break this out so you all can get you can ask your question. So what happens if I do this? Or what happens if I try to attempt this? What are my tax shelters? What are my options? Again, when we're talking about this, it is not for you to say, well, I'm going to go because Samika over at Women in Linux said, no, I'm just giving you things that people are doing. Some people do contract work and they have multiple contracts because they treat themselves as a contractor. And so they go out and search contract work, right? And so they may be full-time over here, they may be part-time over here, and they may be full-time over here. Depends on the contract. And I have been reading where a recruiter actually reached out to a guy. He ended up getting a job. He's like, well, since you're doing well on the first job, on the first two jobs, I got another job for you that's in the same realm. So he gave him 3 contract jobs, and the recruiter knew that person was doing that work. All right. I had a recruiter that reached out to me when I was working, and I did the same overemployment last year. So again, it's been done before. And recruiter.
And people, now you know that it's a possibility. Like, this is not a far off notion. We are not pulling these terms out of thin air. People are actually doing this thing. Now, if you ask, how do you do it, or when do you have the time? You gotta have discipline. Like, you gotta have discipline.
We'll talk about it offline.
Gotta have discipline with anything. Like, you can make it happen if you have the discipline. And you have the time. If you don't have the time, you just don't have the time.
Right.
Like, don't think you lacking because you can't do it. Sometimes you just got too much on your plate at that particular time.
Yep. So last but not least, we talked about being in a room with billionaires. I'm not gonna sit here and run through all 28 minutes of this video. I'm kind of gonna skip through. I'm gonna give it to Dee, but I wanted to bring this up because I think there's some things that you can learn, not necessarily networking with billionaires, but networking with people. How do you network with people for employment? How do you network with people to gain information? When you go to a networking event, what are you doing? What are you discussing? Do you have at the IFS event, people didn't hand out business cards. They actually could tap each other's we could tap each other's what's not the lanyard, but what's the little thing that hangs down off the lanyard? Conference pass, whatever the case, if they're going to call it that way. We could tap each other's conference pass, like a boom. I can tap the phone, and then a boom, it pops up with a video that I would create online, and then that person would have like a brief introduction of who I was, what my company name, website, a little small something about that person. So I don't have a business card I exchange. I have this video exchange of who that person is, their website, and how to get in touch with them, right? So that's just another way when we're talking about network with people. You may not be interested in hearing the full story, like, hey, how you doing? I wonder if we could just exchange information. Yeah, cool, boom, tap, and we out, right? In C19 free on top of that, right? So what I want you to ask yourself this question is if you are in the room and you are networking with people who can offer you a job, and that job is paying you, I don't know, 50, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600,000. What are you doing to make sure that you're standing out? Are you doing any type of resume? Because it's like speed dating sometimes when you go to career fairs, where and we've done it before on Brazen, where you get 1 minute with a recruiter to talk about X, Y, and Z, or you get 15 minutes with a recruiter to see if they're going to advance you to the next stage or what have you. What are the highlights are you going to have? What are the highlights are you going to have about you on your resume? And what are the highlights are you going to have that's going to stand out, that's going to make that person Now, it may not be a recruiter. It may be somebody substituting. It may be the hiring manager. It may be somebody on the team. Like, oh yeah, I remember that person. Blah 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 blah. And they said X, Y, and Z, and I went and looked them up. What does your digital profile look like online? How these are things I want you to be thinking about, because these things are important as you continue. But not only that's one side of it. The other side of it is your skill set. Well, how are you keeping up with your skill set? What is your continuing education? What is your continued growth? What does that look like? These things are very important. Dee, did you want to add anything before we get into the video?
I think you covered it all.
All right, so let's get into this video real quick.
Goes out to all of my beautiful people. I'm J Star, you know it's nice to meet you.
Because I'm a cool person. It happened through some of the principles that
All right, let me back up.
My network. An amazing network of really, really successful people in my network. And it did not happen because I'm a cool person. It happened through some of the principles that I'm going to teach right now. So if you're having a hard time connecting with and having a network of successful people, because we all have a network. Some people are like, I just don't have a network. We all have a network, meaning there are people that we know and people that know us. There are people that will take our calls.
Now we talked about this network. Did everybody write down the people in that network that were millionaires and those that were worth 10 million, Deca millionaire? And the reason why I asked you to write those down is I want you to have a conversation with them. I want you to have a conversation with them as to how they got there. What are they doing to get to the next level? Don't, like I say, don't call them up and say, can I pick your brain for a second? Offer some coffee, offer a lunch or something. Ask about their journey. Ask them about what they see for themselves next. Well, how did they get there, right? So again, your network, you should be utilizing it. What is the purpose of you building it if you don't use it? Just to say you got it? No. You need to utilize your net. I say use, people. I say utilize your network. When you want to go out, instead of looking for a job, you utilize your network. Hey, I'm back out on the job market. Just thought I'd send you an email to let you know where I'm at. Would love to schedule some time with you. Hey, I'm interested in looking into new opportunities. Let me schedule some time with you. Right? Utilizing your network is super important, but also being in a network is super.
Okay, you got to feed into it. It's reciprocity.
Yeah. All right. So again, let's say we're not going to watch this whole video. I just wanted you to get some things, some takeaways. The video is 28 minutes long. I'm not going to sit through it. I just want to share it with you.
And those calls that we will take. So we all have a network. Now, shaping this network is very, very important, because that old cliche of your network is your net worth is extremely true. And I hate, Paul, the classic information. Hold on. The classic information is always like looked at as cliche. Somebody says, yo, find your why. And then like you tune out because you heard that before. But it's a classic. Your network is your network. It's a foundational principle.
Now, we heard this earlier, right? We talked about this earlier, find your why, right? And some people, that motivates people. For some people, that does not motivate them. You have to find what motivates you, what pushes you to execution. I think that's so important. What is going to push you to think about something, create something, execute something? What the execution part, I think I feel on it every day. I'm supposed to wash my hair. Hence the hat. Execution. But I did put some conditioner in it. Halfway there. All right.
when I would play when I was a basketball player, all my friends were basketball players. When I became an author, for some reason, all my friends were authors. I didn't even know no other authors in person before until I wrote a book. Then I write a book, and I don't know all these people that are authors. And my network is full of authors. When I'm an entrepreneur, at one point, I didn't even know anybody that was an entrepreneur. But when I became one, for some reason, my network formed and morphed into a network of entrepreneurs. So today we're on a call, and this is a good way to start, because we see people every day and we become like a family. We connect with each other. Okay.
All right. So everybody comes here every week, and I just want to know: does anybody know anyone? Like in the chat, do y'all know each other? Do y'all come to the meetups? Do you come to the Slack group and do you exchange information? Do you all actually share your what your journey is with each other, or do you come here and you're like, we're strangers in the night, two ships passing in the night, and we're gonna keep it moving, and I'll see you next week? Right? Are you good thing here shaping your network? Are you shaping people who you interact with? Are you doing just that? Are you taking that to the next level? Right?
Are you cultivating the relationships?
Yeah.
Because we also had a conversation. Was it on the last week about working remote? Yeah, working remotely and the purpose of camaraderie. Like, do you need to be in the office to foster camaraderie? Like, we've been virtual for 5 years now. Like, and some of the relationships we've met in person, some we've cultivated online, but most of my jobs have been remote opportunities. And even virtually, I find my tribe. It just happens organically. You find your people.
Yeah. So I want to keep emphasizing that, because you never know who has an opportunity for you, and you never know who has an opportunity to get you to the person where you need to get to.
That closed mouth don't get fed.
Yeah,
Like,
you never know. You never
never
know.
know.
You never know who's sitting next to you that can get you to the person that can loan or even invest into your idea
Or
and get you
introduce you to an opportunity.
right.
Like, I don't have anything right now, but this person is looking for you.
Right. So if you're not in the Slack and you're not exchanging and you're not doing it, when do you do it? When do you do it, and where? Are you exchanging information and ideas at work? Are you meetups or whatever? Right? And I'm not telling you to go out and get 50 people. That's not what I'm saying. You may get a hot two. You may do 2 a week. You may do 2 a month. But yeah, you need to take action and execute.
But I'm going to give you a couple of principles on networking with successful people. Networking with successful people. Okay. All right, cool. Let's do it. Number one, and I got my notes. Rid yourself of broke language. The first step.
Oh, stop it right there.
Okay, so before you start, right? I have, let me tell you. So I had to go to the mailbox earlier today, right? The mailbox, and then I was like, I'm gonna get some gas. You already know my feelings on gas, but when I got to that pump and I saw the price, and I knew I was filling up, that voice in my head was, "We don't worry about no gas around here." Like, yeah, I heard the voice loud as day, like, we don't worry about no gas. Fill this thing on up. Like, I had to tell myself there's room for more. Like, this is not an option. Like, I need gas. I'm going to fill it up, and I'm going about my day because I got checks in the mail. I got opportunity coming away. Like, I got things in the work. I got things on the board. I got pipeline. Like, I had to tell myself, and that was Tam, by the way. We don't worry about no gas.
I don't. I just know I need it.
And that's the first thing I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, put on my little glove and I had to hold it. And I was like, and I kept saying it over and over, like my own little mantra, like, bro, scared money can't make no money. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm planning through inflations. I'm planning through recessions. Like, I had to give myself the pep talk.
But the reason
why, your own inner dialogue.
But the
be fooling you.
But the reason why I've shown some of these videos over the past week, where we've been talking about, you can call it the 501k plan, permanent insurance, whole life insurance. We've been talking about annuities. I haven't done a deep dive on that yet. The birth strategy. I'm going to come back with more and keep feeding you more and more and giving you realistic things to do to execute on. I'm even starting to get in touch with some of my friends to talk about, like, how do you analyze a deal? What does that look like? What does that look like for you? What are you looking at? Like, but I want to keep this. It's still tech focused. It's just, you're gonna make this money in tech, and you're gonna make this. You're gonna have these options. What are you going to do with those options that you have to go to the next level? What are you going to do to accumulate wealth? What are you going to do to preserve your wealth? You're living after retirement, you're living 30 to 40 years. How do you make sure you're set up? What do you do with your money if you don't have any kids, or you didn't get married, or what have you? Do you have anything about wills? Do you have an estate planning? Have you all started looking at burial plots? Have you started looking at how you want things designed? Have you looked at what you want your retirement to look like? Your drawdown, is your drawdown going to be 50,000? Do you really think 50,000? We just saw earlier today that the average apartment rental was 1652, 1672 across the U.S., and we did it by 45,000, right? But do you really think 50,000 is going to be enough in 30 to 40 years from now for you to draw down? Or you may draw down 50,000 right now and then just live off of that for the next 30 or 40 years. Again, these are conversations that you're going to have with yourselves and some significant others, and come up with a plan and come up with a strategy. But you're gonna have them. They're hard conversations to have. Some people are like, I'm just gonna work forever, and then some people are like, I don't want to work forever, and some people are like, I ain't never gonna stop. Can't quit, won't quit, right? So just keep that in mind. And Brooklyn, thank you for coming to Slack. If you're already in Slack, just make sure y'all exchange information. Call each other once a week. Get in a huddle. Maybe I'll throw up a huddle today or something like that. Invite y'all to a huddle. Just in Slack. You don't even have to get on camera. It's just a huddle, just talking and shooting the breeze right in Slack. All right, let's get back to it.
Yeah. To networking with successful people. I'm talking about millionaires and billionaires. You got to rid yourself of broke language. Y'all know I've been reading Richest Man in Babylon when I start using words like rid yourself. You got to rid yourself of broke language. Do y'all know that, like, there's so your language will let me know where you're from. So use certain words like shouty, finna. Where am I from? From the South. I can get it. I use words like son, B. Yes, y'all know I'm from the North, right? But I can tell where your mindset is by some of the language that you use. So there are some people that come to me and they're talking to me about, have I seen this TV show? Or the gossip in the news. Or they come to me and say, yo, so-and-so said so-and-so, and they was like, yo, and I'm like, ooh, I don't really need to be around this. So what I had to do was I had to rid myself of broke language. I had to identify what that language is.
So I'm gonna stop it right now. I'm gonna tell you what broke language is that I hear right now. This is what I hear right now. This is broke language for me. Everybody in the chat, type in living off of. Living off of. I hear that so much. Living off of. I can't hear you, D.
Living off of what?
Living off of 50,000. Living off of all. Me and my family do good. We can live off of 50,000.
I don't want to
Me and
live. I
my
want to
family
thrive.
doing good. We can live off of. And I hear it so much that I don't even think, and I mentioned this on Intentional Millionaire Show, I don't even think we even understand how that sounds when you say it. I'm living off of 50,000. Great. What I never hear is I'm living and investing this money over here. I never hear the investing, right? I never hear the and investing. It's always, and this is no shade to the girl that went viral because the what you call it just covered her. A.O. Anthony covered, not A.O. Anthony. Well, A.O. Anthony covered her, A.O. O'Neal, Anthony O'Neal. And the Breakfast Club covered this other one. And there was the one chick that said she can't make it off of $10,000 a month. Which was $117K a year. And so I went on and broke that down. The $117K a year after taxes is actually $68.25 a month. She lives in California, and I've done this before. The average rent in California is $3,200. That's swack it. That's gone. Right? Swack it. It's gone. Right?
So the tolls alone, like,
and then,
my cousin paid $400 in tolls. She stay in Vallejo. She worked in San Francisco. $400 a month in tolls.
Right. So then, if you're maxing out your 401k, that's $1,708 a month. It's going to get that out, right? We started at 16. We started at 68.25. 17. We're gonna go with 1,700. Make it easy on myself. Was 51. We got 3,200 in rent. That is 2,800. Is that right? Is my numbers right? I could be wrong. Let me whip out my calculator here, because I never want to steer you wrong about the money.
All right. I got people living there and thriving there.
Let's see.
And
6,800 minus the 1,708, right? Minus the 3,200 is 1,892. So you got 1,892. I have not included food. I have not included
insurances.
Yeah.
Hygiene stuff for yourself.
Yeah. Groceries, right. If you got kids or
no family.
and here's the other thing we haven't mentioned all day. You might have a sick parent that needs your help. You may have a sick parent that needs your help. You may have sick parents that can't take care of themselves that need your help.
Yeah, might have a special needs.
Yep. It's other factors that we have to include into that, right? So I get tired of hearing I can live off of. Yeah, but what are you investing when we're talking about this live off or off of? Her 401k is pre-tax. 401k pre-tax. Right? And we're not even talking about trips. This is another thing I hear all the time. All I hear women talk about is they want to take trips. Well, yeah. Who don't want to go somewhere? Who don't want to go somewhere? I don't care if it's you drive from here to Utah or from Miami to Tampa. Like, what? Right? So to me, living off of is actually a broke mentality to me. Because you can live off of 30,000, but can you invest off that 30? You can.
Or this one's another one that gets me. You live in Georgia, so that's all you need.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I need. Wait a minute. You don't know my life.
You don't
know my life. You don't know what I need.
You don't know me like that.
You don't know what I need. Like, shoot,
Right.
I go outside. I go twirl with the world. You don't know me. Tell me what is the cost of living there in that state? That's not my cost of living.
Right. I'm trying to find my video. I'm trying to get back to my video. It switched on me. I'm trying to find my little thingy here. Hold on. I gotta look at my
Engineering cannabis. You are a husband and a father and so many things to so many people. A staycation is sometimes very much needed.
Right.
Just to get out of the house.
Oh, where did it go? I know where it went. I'm just trying to get to it. All right. I'll just go this way. I know where it's at though. I have my videos here.
You know what, Brooke? And I don't think people are scared to say invest, especially in the Black community. And it's one of those things where it's one of those faux pas of telling people your business. Like, that's not their business to know what I'm investing in, because people don't want them asking them for nothing. So at Women in Linux, should trips be taken if you're not maxing out your tax advantage accounts?
I say yes and no.
My thing is, if you've done some things are priority that goes out automatically. You should be doing all of your priority stuff, and what you got left over, whether you save that or whatever, like you can't, you got to do something with yourself. Like, you cannot not do anything.
Yeah, I think everybody needs a break now. Can it be a staycation? Can it be, hey, I'm gonna take a trip and I'm gonna spend the weekend at a luxury hotel in town for a night or for a weekend or something like that, and just do nothing but eat bonbons and go to their gym and
right. Or you want to visit a friend a place. Like, at this stage of the game, people live all over the country. Some of your friends even live internationally. Like, am I going to take a week to go visit a friend? That's a vacation for some. Am I going to be able to, have a brunch or go out and have a fine dinner? Like, going to visit friends, going to visit families, that could be your vacation.
Booty towel, you stupid. Booty wash, aka booty wash.
Hey, even if you go get you the dollar soap, like, you need to go rinse that thing off.
All right, so here we go.
Let's get
back to it.
Talking about my problems. I'm amongst a group. I finally find my way into a successful group of people. It's actually a network marketing company. And I started talking about all my problems, all the reason why I can't become successful. And the room gets silent. And it's almost like, yo, who invited him? Whose man's is this? That's what I hear in my head. Because I've adopted the broke language. Words like when you go out to eat and you want to add shrimp to your meal, you say, well, how much is it to add shrimp? It's these small things.
It's this much. I want the shrimp. I don't care. Add the shrimp. Oh, check this out. So this week, my best friend from college, her husband, he's like a brother to me, was here working, and we hung out, and we were at a place. we were at a place having some dinner and a drink, and I went to the restroom, and he was following behind me, and he was like, "Oh." He from DC. He was like, "Oh, this is one of them unisex joints." Bet. And I was like, "No, it's not. Your bathroom is down there." But I say that to say that for me was a trigger that he is well traveled, because other places we go, the bathroom is unisex. And the where you wash your hands, it's in look in the mirror, it's communal. And we fell about it. I said, "Don't be friendly." I said, you travel. He was like, "And I do." And we laughed. We had a good laugh, because it was just one of those things like, you go places. Get that. Like, you go places. You travel. You got a passport, huh?
A clear pass.
You got a passport. You go places.
You ready?
Yes.
Things that let us know. Now, I'm not saying like splurge, but if you want something, I mean, it's not going to be $50, $6, $7 at the most. If you have to ask that question, you shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be in this particular. So I'm very conscious. I'm just very conscious. The words can't, negative talk. It's we have to get out of broke language first.
And around broke people.
Words like, it's too expensive. Yeah, my man. So I had some broke language. I was talking to my friend Nehemiah Davis, and he was telling me how he invested in a mentorship program, and it was $53,000. And I was like, whoa, 53,000. Broke language. I couldn't imagine in that moment investing 53,000.
So here's a question. Can you imagine in this moment that you wake up Monday and you interview for a job and the job is paying you $250? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Type of one in the chat if you can imagine that. What's your next level up? Are you imagining what your next level up is? See, let me tell you. And I told this story before, right? I told this story before about how I literally got into tech. Like I told people on the meetup Wednesday, like I was truly, truly scared of the computer. Like I literally was like, yo, this computer went black. And I called my ex-husband at work. I was like, it went black. I ain't do nothing to it, but I can pay you back on Friday if something happened to it. And he was like, did you move the mouse? I was like, no. I said, is it okay to move it? Because I don't want to mess up the computer. And so I moved it, and I was like, okay, it's back. The screen is back. It's back. I said, it ain't nothing wrong with it. Do I need to run some type of diagnostic test or something like that? Right?
Renzi, that's broke language. That's broke language.
So, yeah, so you got to change your
in it and right back out of it.
Yeah, you got to change that. I can imagine it as long as I have the skills. I don't even know what that means. You're going to get the skills. You know where to get the skills at.
They reached out to you. You got whatever they reach out for, you got what they need already.
Right. So you got, again, that these conversations are something that we have to have with our friends too. Because our friends can continuously to have that language of, I can only imagine. Oh, how the other half lives. Oh, no, it's how I live. It's how you can too. This is what I think you should be doing. Let's discuss. Right? How many of us are helping others move to the next level? Are you sharing with others what you do? Are you talking about it? Are you excited for yourself on your journey? Are you excited about what others are doing? Shout out to Sasha. She got her RHCSA. She got invited into a program. And this is all in maybe a year and a half.
She's been putting in that work.
I'm gonna have some people on who gonna talk about their journey from 70K to over 300K in a matter of 3.5 years. I'm gonna have others that I know have benefited. Not a prep talk. We don't prep talk. We execute. Right? We execute. We skill stack. You choose where you want to go. You choose what you want to do. Not everybody is able is another one. Not everybody is able. Again, change that mindset. Change your language. Find words that are positive. And again, we talked about positivity this morning. You need that million shillings in the vineyard. Yep. You can go to what was that Vine joint where you can get the Vine NFT? Right? We talked about the Vine NFT. Right? So let's get back to it. No more broke language. No more. And with that, you have to remove yourself from broken people. I didn't say you have to get rid of them. You just got to kind of curtail that, because that could be mentally unhealthy for you. Mentally unhealthy.
And you could be the problem. Like, you look around, you might be the problem. You might have to go. That work may not just be physical or, physical work. You might have to do some self-work.
Yep. All right, let's go.
Broke language. And I'd catch myself like, whoa. Wow, why don't I say, why don't I just aspire to do it instead of, wow, as if it's too much? Investing in yourself. Okay. Number two, don't talk about your ideas, talk about your execution. So this is how you network with successful people. One of the best ways to network with successful people is to stop talking about your ideas. Nobody successful wants to hear your ideas. Everybody has ideas. Everybody got these ideas. Ideas without execution are like, it's so common among successful people. You need to talk about what you're currently doing. Yeah, literally every single day, I get 1, 2, 3 DMs every single day where people say, yo, I got this idea I want you to be a part of. Let's set it up. No, my answer is no. I don't want to hear what you're about to do. Especially in this podcasting space, I hate when people say, yo, I'm about to start my podcast. Why are we even talking about it then? Let me know, like, I'm more impressed and I'm more attracted to people that are saying, yo, I started this podcast and it's not working. There's some things. I need some advice on how to, I'm like, whoa, okay, cool. I'll give you advice on how to grow it, but to start it, do we really need that much advice on how to start? And for everybody that's listening, if you want to start a podcast, you need a microphone, a way to record it. Then you take that audio file and you upload it on a platform that's going to distribute it through different that's
the hard way.
Like Apple Music.
That is the hard way.
That's the hard way. Like, you don't need any of that.
Yeah, execution. So execution, what are you currently working on? Right? What are you currently working on? Right? Are you currently working on getting more skills? Or are you just currently okay with where you're at? Right? Are you currently working on skills right now? If you're not currently working on skills right now, again, intangible assets. I got into a debate with someone online about it. They was like, no, intangible assets are supposed to, no, assets is something that helps a multitude of people. Your asset is a selfish asset. I was like, but if I have a patent, based upon my skill sets, that's able to create something that helps a multitude of people, it is an asset. It is just an intangible asset. You don't know what your skills are going to be utilized as, meaning you could be writing a program that, or be a part of something that has a bigger impact. So one of the things at the IFS conference was creating a fund that has an impact. Again, execution. So what is the impact that you're going to have, and how are you going to execute it? You're already doing something. Well, already doing something. What are you already doing? Do you need help implementing that? Do you need help creating a path to scale that? Right? These are things that you have to really hone in on. The first one was what? D, don't say nothing. Type in the chat, what's the first one? What's the first principle? The first principle. And then what's the second principle? 1 and 2. Number 1 is, and number 2 is what? Nobody was paying attention.
Give it a minute. Give it a minute. Somebody is walking around their house vacuuming. They run into the computer. They run into their mobile device. They still asking the learning question.
That's right, Marina. And what's the second one? And it's all the things that I talk about here. All the things that I talk about. D, give them the second one, D.
Did we give them the second one?
Yeah, I did. We already did, which is number 2.
Oh, I don't know what number 2 was.
Number 2 is
I thought
execution, not ideas. Things you're already
Well, yeah, number 1 was the network.
No, number 1 was rid of broke language.
Oh, okay.
Rid of broke language. Number 2 is take action, execution, right? That's what it is. Let's get back to it.
So you got stuff like BuzzFeed or Buzzsprout, something like that. BuzzFeed, Libsyn, Anchor. You record the audio and you just upload it to the website. You have a podcast. Congratulations. That you could do. Now, in terms of strategy and growing it, I love entertaining those questions. But I'm telling you, and I've learned this. Finding successful people, I never talk about what I'm about to do. I'm always talking about what I'm currently involved in, because I need to show you that I'm an action taker, not an idealist. I'm about to. Doesn't impress anybody but you. You're impressed by the stuff you're about to do, but it doesn't impress anybody but you. So if you want to network with successful people, you need to have some sort of activity going. And that you don't need a network for. You do not need a network to get busy, to get active on whatever it is you're going to. If you need a t-shirt, if you want to build a t-shirt brand, just start selling it. Ask people. I don't care about the perfect design. Come out with a design. If people don't like it, ask them why they don't like it. Go back and start it over. Just get another design. It doesn't matter. You got to start. You got to get something going though. We can't just sit there because we're just not attracted to that. Okay. Number 3. Accomplish something. Accomplish something.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. So the back at the end of that tell, he's like, get going. What is your MVP? Right? We do this all the time inside of our sprints and so forth. We have an MVP, right? We got something, we need to build it, we're gonna get it out there. It's probably gonna be a failure. We're gonna reiterate over that. How many times do you think Amazon reinvented AWS cloud services or different services within the cloud? Same way with Azure. Every year Ford comes out with that F-150. They doing a tweak. There's always something going on. There's always an improvement. There's always something you can do better. But the goal is to get it out there. And this is why they say don't buy the very first car that comes out of that particular model. Don't buy it because they got to reiterate over it. That's usually why they say that. But again, when we're talking about it, that's what they're talking about. But again, accomplish something, right? Accomplish something. Move the needle, right? Move the needle forward. Move the needle forward, right? I want to know how many of you are just sitting there. It's okay. I do it. You're just sitting there. When I say sitting there, you're meaning like you're mentally procrastinating about what you want to do. Like he said, I'm about to do something. I'm about to study, but you don't study. I'm about to do X, Y, and Z, but you don't do it. Just do one chapter a day. You don't have to do 5 chapters a day. Pick one chapter and accomplish that chapter a day. By the end of the week, you've had 5 chapters done versus no chapters.
I mean, we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
In some form or the other.
Yep.
I know I am.
This is how you network with successful people. You need to accomplish something at some level, some scale. Have something to show. Have something to show. That needs to be the number one goal of accomplishing something. So let's just say, podcasts. You started it. We don't have a whole lot of traction. However, you got 30 episodes. You got 30 bad episodes. That is okay because you have 30 episodes. Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday and I think I was on Clubhouse and a guy says, I have 600 episodes of a podcast. I said, whoa, that's dope. They could be 600 bad episodes. He could not, look, the 600 episodes could have been over the last 10 years. The 600 episodes could have been over the last 20 years. The 600 episodes could have no listeners at all. But the fact that he said 600, I'm like, yo, I can imagine the listenership. But you need to just accomplish something. Get to a certain number of episodes, 30.
Chapter 1. Read a chapter a day. Accomplish something. Log in. Read a chapter. I'm telling you, it's going to take you a whole lot further. Don't try to do 5. Don't try to overexert yourself.
Because people be ambitious.
Just read a chapter a day.
The one chapter didn't have a time limit. It's just one chapter a day.
Just one chapter a day.
One chapter.
Yeah, because you may fall asleep.
I love a video that is gonna play all the way through. I was in IFS yesterday and I was like, so you'll go to the other video, but you won't automatically play. This is a problem. The other program didn't do that.
Let's go there.
Go sell 100 of your books. Go sell 200 books. That's the number. If you have a book, go sell 200 of them. Because now you could say in your bio, sold hundreds of books. You technically sold hundreds. We accomplished something. Look, over the last 10 years, do you realize if you made $10,000 in a business, technically, according to some terminology, you have a 6-figure business. You made 6 figures. You made $100,000. Now it's over 10 years, but you accomplished something. I'm just asking you to get to a certain mark that you can brag about. All
right, so let's get to a mark for next week. Everybody in the chat. Let's have a chapter of one book read or a or a tutorial, or you created something or whatever. Let's get one done next week, right? So next week when you come back, you're able to talk about it. We can bring you up. You can discuss what that was. Just a quick summary, 5 minutes, whatever, or a quick summary in the chat, whatever the case may be. Here's where your accountability comes in. Here's where the accountability comes in. Maybe we'll make an accountability section in Slack and say, okay, this is something that you should have accomplished. Here's your accountability to that. All right. See, D, yeah, left me some messages. Okay. Well, what do you want? Are you ready to go?
What are you talking about?
I'm hungry.
I am hungry.
Oh, okay. That means hungry means to wrap it up. Wrap it up. All right, this is gonna be the last one.
I know it's still early for you.
No, I mean I had nothing to eat either.
You should be hungry, but this is your fire. This is you'll be here all night long.
No, I won't.
Yes, you will.
Mm-mm.
You'll be like, oh, I ain't nothing all day.
Where's that mark that you can brag about? Throw it in the chat real quick. Throw it in the chat. What is something that you can brag about? Or something that you can aspire to accomplish that you can brag about? 600 is a good goal, absolutely. What can you accomplish right now, over the next 2 months? 10,000 smoothies sold. Woo, I like that. I like that. Buying my first condo. You are a real estate investor. If you buy your first condo, absolutely. Amazon bestseller, author, accomplished. I love it. 250 books. So you sold hundreds of books at 250. Closed on 5 mobile homes. You're an investor. 10,000 in flipping. I love it. I love it. We just have to set a number. Because once we start talking to these successful people, they see that you are an accomplished person. And accomplished people want to connect with accomplished people. Very rarely, and I've never seen it, you see a circle of friends that are hanging out at dinner. You got 5 millionaires and one not successful at all, like one poverty-stricken person. I've never seen it. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I just never seen it. I never seen like a group of people that's like super mixed, highly successful. Well, this morning meetups dope because we all have the same mindset. But I never seen, like, 'cause we have some really successful people on the call, and we have some people that maybe aren't like super successful, but everyone here has invested in themselves.
So have you invested in yourself? D, did you invest in yourself today?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Got you. All right.
So this would be the most diverse range I've seen. But in terms of a mastermind, a group of people that get together and hang out together, like a friend circle, I haven't seen it. What's going on, family? David Shands. I want to give you a special invitation to the morning meetup, themorningmeetup.com. People. Basketball players hang out with basketball players. Entertainers, rappers hang out with rappers. Singers hang out with singers. Vegans got a whole network of vegans. Am I right? The Rooted Love? It's not like y'all the only vegans that you know. Like, I know other vegans. And believe it or not, there are some people in certain parts of the world, they don't know any vegans. They're like, yo, who are these? Like, what are these vegans that I keep hearing about? Because they're just not in that world. They're not in that world. So I need you to go accomplish something. Very, very important. Number four, I need you to prepare to add value in exchange for mentorship. Add value in exchange for mentorship.
We'll start right there. Yes, I am still going. Add value in exchange for mentorship. Again, can I pick your brain? No. Add value. Add value to each other is super important, right? Adding value to each other. adding value to each other. Right? So I'm gonna stop right there because D is like giving me these looks in the back chat here.
What look am I getting you in the back chat when we are live on the stream?
I'm reading it.
I swear you be put throw D under the bus.
I ain't throw you under the bus. I'm gonna read what you said. You will have us here to 10 p.m. 8 p.m. is your cutoff time. Shawty.
The bus.
That's what she said.
Read what else I said.
I'm hungry.
No, read what else I said.
Passion.
Your passion, which is delivering the learning, the knowledge to the people, will have you here all night. You ain't even been asleep.
Wide awake, ready to rock.
You haven't been asleep. You haven't been to eat. I'm looking out for you. You need some water. You need some rest.
Team,
because when I come in town, I don't want you to be like, oh, I'm so tired.
Team, no sleep.
You need to go water your garden over there. Like, you need some rest. You need some food. I'm your friend. I'm going to tell you. You on fumes.
When doves cry. All right, so I'm going to stop it right there because, we want D to get some food. But we got the 4. No broke talk. No broke language. 2, was it execution?
2 is talk about your execution, not ideas.
Execution. And 3
is accomplish something.
And 4
is prepare to add value for in exchange for mentorship.
Who are you gonna add value to this week? I asked you to tap in with your millionaire friends. Tap in with your millionaire friends. If you don't know any, switch it up. Go meet a millionaire somewhere. Go join a millionaire meetup or something. Tap in. All right. Let me see. Well, we got 10 minutes before we get out of here. I won't give D the glory.
Does D ever get the glory?
D dropped it.
Let's be clear here.
D dropped the link.
Let's be clear here. Does D ever get the glory?
D,
type of 1 in the chat if D gets the glory. Type of 2 is ain't nothing.
D, is this you? You getting ran over? You feel ran over?
You got 10 minutes. Where did you come up with this? That's like saying
I'm looking at my clock.
They get the power. The power of where'd you get the power from? Like, where is this? Where is this?
You still ain't dropped the link.
For what?
I want to hear from the peoples.
In 10 minutes?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. 10 minutes is the cutoff. So cam up, be ready. Your thoughts. What are you going to do this week? What are you procrastinating on? What are you going to do to change your language? Join the stream. D, what are you going to work on this week?
IFS.
Yeah, I got to do that this week.
I have to finish. I've been doing IFS because I have to go through all of the modules because I have to start working on a pitch deck, which I have something in my head, but I have to get with you to go over what ideas you already got in your head and what you already accomplished in the IFS module, because it's saying I'm supposed to do some things and you might have done those things already. So I don't know if I have to do it for myself individually and all that other blah, blah stuff. So, and then I have to pack because it's Gemini season. Do my hair, where I land, I'm supposed to get, manicure, pedicure, all that good stuff. But, got to get ready. wash clothes, get the house together, mow some lawns, getting the car wash tomorrow.
Dusty.
Already got an appointment. It's beyond dusty. It's beyond dust. Does not compare. It doesn't. It's beyond dusty. It's just been sitting. Hopefully, I can get both of them done. I'm trying to figure out the execution of that. If I only get one done, I'm okay with that. I'll deal with the other one when I get done.
All right. Nobody came up. Nobody's coming up. Got 8 more minutes.
I mean, everybody's been saying it in the chat.
Yeah, I got it. Time blocks. Good time blocks. Good.
Down to earth, what are you studying? What does everybody study? Oh, my assigned time blocks.
That's good. I gotta eat first, and then I gotta clean up. And
you got what?
Eat.
You gonna get some nourishment too?
I don't know. I'm thinking about some.
Huh?
I was thinking about maybe some oatmeal.
I'm not going to even entertain myself with you. I said I'm not going to entertain myself with you.
And I got some soup in there. Probably hit up my soup.
Is it soup that's already in the house or soup that you bought from somewhere else?
Soup that I brought from somewhere else, and then I'm gonna have oatmeal.
She's not gonna eat none of that. I don't know why y'all entertaining that. She's not gonna eat none of. She's not gonna eat no oatmeal at 5 o'clock. And she definitely not about to eat no soup. I can put money on it.
It's spicy sweet potato soup,
and it don't have no parents. Don't believe that.
It may be an appetizer before I order something else. Your no broke language.
What you mean no broke language? I'm just letting you know that you're just not having spicy sweet potatoes.
I had to mute her because it was getting.
Don't mute me on my show. Don't do that.
You have to mute.
Don't mute me.
You have to mute her. She was getting ready. She was getting ready.
It's Gemini season. I'm gonna keep it cute. I will not put this thing on the Geminis.
Too late. All right, so that's all we got. That's all she wrote. I hope y'all enjoyed this broadcast. I hope you got something out of it. I hope those that joined late, Linux we do on Wednesdays. This is more like skills. What do you need? How to network? How to build your wealth, accumulate, so forth and so on. We had some stuff that's pulled over from the last section. I also wanted to make sure that you got what you need and you're exchanging information and ideas with each other and you're executing. That's super important. We'll finish off this video come next week. We're at the 15-minute mark. We'll pick up where we left off for the next show. We'll knock that out. Next week, we'll probably go over some other things that I didn't get a chance to go over. We haven't touched on all the conferences. We hadn't touched on the Red Hat stuff. We hadn't touched on all the stuff when we're talking about VMware, their conference, the Google Output conference, the security conference. I have a whole page of stuff that I haven't even touched that we got to get to. We're gonna get to it, so I'm gonna make a special dedication about that, and we're gonna go through some stuff, and we're gonna talk about how about you creating some accounts and then getting ready to do that, right? All right. So until next week, we'll see you next week. No broke language living off of. We're not talking about. We're more investing off of. How are you investing? That is the language that we need to speak. That is the language that we need to pull forward to. Don't forget, also, we have one-on-one sessions. Don't forget to be involved with each other. And until then, I'll check with you later.